Welcome to the Undisputed podcast. I'm your host, Jenny Taft. This podcast is the full show from today's episode of Undisputed from start to finish. They've got a busy slate, so skip Shannon, let's get to it.
Welcome to Undisputed. We are live from Los Angeles. I'm Jenny Taft here with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharpe. Good morning. How are you? One better than other, maybe.
Say it with me now. And a 1, and a 2, and a 3. How about them Cowboys?
See what I'm talking about? See? You see what you do? You see how you act? Do you see how you act when your team wins?
Oh, my team didn't just win last night. It dominated. I have never seen anything like what my team did last night.
When my teams win, I'm humble in victory. I'm gracious in defeat.
Which of your teams ever win?
The Rams.
The Rams are your team now? That's all you got? Way to go. Okay. Congratulations.
Okay. You see how you act? You see how you behave when your team wins? Okay.
All right. Skip, you had your moment. That was big. You deserve it because the Cowboys steamrolled their division rival to a 41-21 victory yesterday. Dak threw 3 touchdowns. Zeke ran for 2 more, and the Dallas defense even scored on a pick 6, one of 2 interceptions the team had on the night. And for the Cowboys, they're now sitting in first place in the NFC East and find themselves over 500 for the first time in the Mike McCarthy era. I cannot wait to hear what Skip has to say, but Shannon, scale of 1 to 10, how impressive were the Cowboys?
3. Because I called it
a 3.
What part about 3 didn't you get? 1, 2, 3.
Like THREE?
No, 3.
Oh, 3.
Oh,
wait, she said scale of 1 to, not 1 to 3, but 1 to 10.
Yeah. Okay, if you want to be scale of 1 to 5, I'm going to give you a 2. You better be glad I gave you a 3. Skip, hold on.
A 3 for that?
Did I not tell you this was coming? You say it's going to be close. I say, Skip, they're going to steamroll them. I have seen enough of the Eagles.
Well, you didn't exactly pick a steamrolling score.
I say you're going to win by at least 10.
Oh, okay, that's a steamroll.
That was Skip, first of all. You cannot, Skip, there's no way you laid your head down on your pillow last night and felt good about that victory after you saw. The Eagles were terrible.
I gotta get her new TV.
Well, you need to.
Seriously, I gotta get one of those Shannon Sharpe cowboy-hating specials.
Skip, the Eagles are a bad football team, especially offensively. First of all, they have a coach that shouldn't be a head coach. They have a quarterback that shouldn't be starting. And the game. Now, you talk about sabotaging with Bill Belichick and what the game plan he used in the Super Bowl. This seemed very sabotaging to me that your starting running backs get 3 carries. Miles Sanders carries the ball. His first carry he gains 24 yards, and he only gets 1 more carry? Wow. And you thought that was a good game plan to let Jalen Hurts throw the ball. How many times he throw the ball? 39 times. Now, you look at the stat sheet. If you didn't watch the game last night and you look at the stat sheet, you're like, man, Jalen Hurts played good. But if you watched that game last night, nobody walked away from that game. No Eagle fan left that game, left their television set, or left the bar where they was watching the game and says, man, we got our quarterback of the future. He played awful. He threw an interception. You know on the go ball, you can't leave it inside because the DB is playing inside. He throws a pick 6. He takes a 3-step drop. He's staring down Devontae Smith with that alignment. What do you think Stephon Diggs is reading? 3 steps with that alignment. Oh, he running speed out. Let me jump it. And to the house.
Did you happen to notice that Devontae Smith fell down on the route?
Even if he doesn't fall down.
It's not going to be a pick 6.
It's not going to be a pick 6, but it's not going to be a completion either. Skip, you can't stare these guys down in this league. The guys are too good. They pattern read. They look at the formation. They look at your split. They look at the quarterback. It's a 3-step drop. What route you think they're going to throw on a 3-step drop? A slant or out route, speed out. And from that alignment, he can't run a slant route.
Could be a pump and go, right?
Well, I would take my chances. I would take my chances that he goes on a 3-step set and then take 2 more steps to throw the ball, Skip. Look. I get it. I know you all happy. The Cowboys, we going to the thing. We doing this. Okay.
Yeah.
You laughing right now. You're beating on them. And Jenny's talking about the Cowboys in sole possession of the East. What she didn't say, the terrible division East.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Okay.
But they're going to run away. What did I predict? They will win it easily. Didn't I say that?
You did say that.
Are you ready to concede?
No, I ain't ready to concede nothing because the Cowboys going to do Cowboys things somewhere down the line. The Cowboys are like a pig in a 4-H contest. Yes, you won. You got the ribbon. But guess what? you still a pig, and you know how it's going to end when it's all
Dallas
said and done.
Cowboys, Shannon Sharpe, the Hall of Famer, just called you a bunch of pigs in a poke.
Yeah,
Pigs.
in a 4-H contest.
Yeah.
You won the ribbon, but you didn't know how it's going to end. You know how this is going to end, Skip Bayless, right? Okay, just so you know.
So that's your prediction. It will end badly. Okay, are you here to predict right here, right now, that the field will win the East? Because I gave you TF the field. I gave you the Eagles and your Washington and your Giants.
And all of them are bad right now.
Okay.
And your team right now seems to be the best team in a bad division. But I know the Cowboys. History has told me one thing. The moment you think they're about to do this, they will inevitably do that. That's what I'm holding firm to.
Shannon Sharpe, I got news for you this morning. History is about to be history.
Okay.
Because nothing that has gone on before matters right now.
Oh, yeah, it does.
What have I told you from the start about my Dallas Cowboys? Something is different with this team.
Yeah, the division is worse.
I give you everything that you said. The Eagles are struggling. They've been decimated in the offensive line. I give you all of that.
Oh.
Jalen did some good things, and he did some really bad
When
things.
did he do
last
the good
night.
things?
Well, he completed passes of 41 yards, 38 yards, 27 yards, and that last touchdown pass to Greg Ward Jr. was a thing of beauty. There aren't many humans who could pull off the feat that touchdown pass was. That's what Jalen Hurts can do. But now let's step back from all of this, and I'm just going to give you my eye test, and I'm going to tell you from my heart, the bottom of my heart, what I witnessed last night. I saw, for the first time in the Dak Prescott era, a real live football team. I'm talking top to bottom, offense, defense, special teams. They looked like a football team to me last night. A team that actually could contend not just in the division, but in the NFC.
See, there you go. See, there you go.
The conference. I saw offense. I saw defense. I saw special teams. And I saw a Dak Prescott who is playing at the highest level he has ever played at. I told you in training camp, even though he got no repetitions, no preseason games, no padded practice repetitions, no joint practice repetitions, I was scared to death about that. But one thing I wasn't scared about, what did I tell you from watching him on Hard Knocks? There was a new serenity about Dak Prescott. He has embraced his place with that franchise, his position as the face of that franchise, the leader of that football team. And he kept talking about what gratitude he has that he got to come back and play the sport he loves with all his heart and soul. And it was a beautiful thing to watch. He said he was not crying during the national anthem. You saw something trickle. He said it was sweat. I'm still guessing it was a tear.
Right.
That's what I think, because I think he's been through so much on and off the field.
Yeah, especially Skip, knowing the last time he played a meaningful game there, we know how it ended. We watched him cry going off the field because the uncertainty of his future, especially with the team.
And not only is he back, he is making $75 million this year. And last night he stood up to it. And I wasn't sure he could. But the point is, I kept telling you, he crumbled under the pressure to prove to Jerry Jones that he was betting on himself and that he was worth $75 million. He was struggling going back to 2019 and all early last year. That wasn't the guy I had come to know and love. He was trying too hard. And once Jerry caved in and gave him his money and then actually told the world, I overpaid, told it to Dak's face.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. He sure did. Sit right next to him.
Yeah, sat right next to him and said, you got me. And yet Dak took that as a sign of respect to the point where he heaved a big sigh of relief and said, okay, he was forced to respect me at the level I believe I had earned.
Okay.
And here we go. And here we went again last night. And yet, what is my favorite all-time Cowboy stat now? Do you realize that in the Dak Prescott era, when they run it more than they throw it, they are now 26-0. What did I tell you yesterday? You have to at least be 50-50, and they went way beyond 50-50 last night. They went 41 runs to 26 passes. I thought Dak was just lethally efficient.
But Skip, you watching it, you see how deep, and I don't want to get too specific and you go to this and that. They're basically playing shell coverage, which the safeties are way off. And so you're basically saying, we're going to be able to stop the Cowboys with a 7-man box. Everybody, it's hard to stop a team that can run the football like they can with a 7-man box. That's a light box.
Okay, Shannon, trust me on this. Anybody last night would have had a hard time stopping that run. They're now 4th in rushing in the league. I know it's a small sample size of only 3 games, but you know who's at the top. It's Baltimore and Cleveland and Tennessee. Right. And guess who's 4th on that list? Zeke and company. And company now includes a Tony Pollard, who in the first half, what did I tell you? You got to go 50-50 with their snaps. In the first half, they went 11 carries Zeke and 10 for Tony Pollard. Right. And what did I tell you? I said you have to play them some together in the backfield because you got thunder and you got lightning, and they're hard to deal with when you have them both on the field at the same time. They ran Philly off the field in the first half.
I could have got 15 yards against Philly.
I don't think you could. And by the way,
thunder, lightning, and Crip. That's what they called me. With a bad hip and could have got 15 yards.
All right. Well, after the game, as Zeke said, they felt us. My offensive line was bulldozing last night. It was pass protecting, and it was flat out bulldozing.
Y'all bulldozing so much on 4th and goal, you couldn't get it in from the 1. You bulldozed so much, you gave them a strip sack.
Guess what that play should have been?
It should have been not
a quarterback sneak. It should have been Zeke behind Zach.
Oh, now you want Zeke behind Dak.
Okay. Zeke is running like Banshee out of hell right now. He has gone back to Warrior Zeke.
Right.
Dak is back and Zeke is back.
But Skip, that's what he is.
We're going to go deeper into this later. But he is back on a mission to run between the tackles.
Right. But that's what he is now. But see, you're expecting splash and dash. You expect him to have that same ferocity which he runs with and be able to hit his head on the goalpost like he did at Ohio State. He's not that anymore.
Okay, but Tony Pollard is.
Yes, okay.
So I've got a guy with the gear. And by the way, speaking of Tony Pollard, not only does he have a 4th and a 5th gear that Zeke no longer has, but that young man will power through contact.
Yeah,
he runs hard, man. Zeke has the best body lean still in pro football, but Tony Pollard will punish as well as Zeke. After a while, the defense is just saying, no mas, we don't want to tackle either one of you.
Well, the defense been on the field, Skip. There was a time that the Cowboys had, 19 first downs and the Eagles had 9 plays?
Yep.
What am I supposed to do with that? How long do you believe you can leave a defense on the field before they start to crumble?
What did we do to the Chargers at Los Angeles at SoFi Stadium? What did we do in the first quarter? Franchise record 13 first downs, tying the all-time record of 13 first downs in the first quarter. That's how you set a tone. All of a sudden, my team is doing something it didn't do last year. It is scoring first. It is taking command. How many times last year did they fall woefully behind? They don't do that anymore, right? I saw my team. Listen, opening night was no blip. It was no joke. It was no aberration. Opening night against the defending champs at Tampa Bay.
That defense isn't very good either.
Wire. You want to try to run against that defense?
No.
And again, they threw it 58 times and ran it 18, and I give them that one because you look at Vita Vea and company.
Exactly.
And JPP was there healthy that night, and obviously Shaq Barrett and those 2 linebackers, and you just say, we just can't do that against them. Well, I think if you rethought it now after what they did last night and they went back to Tampa and they could replay the opener, I think they would try to ram it up, right down their throats.
But here's the thing, though, Skip. After watching what everybody else is, the success they're having throwing the ball against Tampa, they saw what Matthew Stafford had, and he had 2 underthrows. Matthew Stafford could have well been close to 500 yards passing. Everybody else has been able to throw the football because, like you mentioned, everybody has healthy offensive line. They're not able to generate the pressure that they once could, and now the back end is getting exposed. So if I'm Dallas like, yeah, we could possibly run it, but why run it? Dak threw for 403, and he's not in harm's way. They probably want to throw it 65 times this time.
Okay.
But all that being said, Skip, you know the Eagles offensively aren't very good.
I'm eye-testing what I saw from my team in a big division.
How about, your team. You eye-test your team. What about the other team? Your team was not playing themselves. Okay. What about the other team?
All right, I don't want to talk about the other team because I want to talk about my defense. When Mike McCarthy said recently, I have never seen one side of the ball flipped the way I saw our defense get flipped in the offseason, I chortled a little bit. I rolled my eyes. I was a little sarcastic about it here on the show but I thought there was a possibility, there was at least a grain of truth in what he was saying. Well, now I think there are 10 pounds of truth in what he's saying, because I have never seen a defense go from hapless and hopeless early last year. Remember what they gave up? 307 yards rushing at home to Cleveland, then 294 at Baltimore, and then again on a Monday night to Arizona, 261. Do you realize, I know it's a small sample size, but I'm seeing it on the rise. Do you realize my defense has allowed the 6th fewest yards rushing in the league?
Hey,
that's
rushing.
top 10.
But
that's
how many?
top 10.
What about the passing yards? What they line passing?
Well, all I know is we take command and we continue with Micah Parsons as our edge rusher, where he should have been from the start. All of a sudden, we wreak havoc on poor Jalen Hurts last night. He had no chance. He had no time, because he's got to deal with Randy Gregory coming off one edge and Micah Parsons roaring off the other edge. And it got so bad, they wouldn't even let Jalen escape. Where does he usually do about half his damage? With his legs. They're so athletic. They're so quick. They're so fast. They're so powerful. They're so nasty coming off the edges. He could not get loose. He never one time got loose where he said, oh, he gashed us. Nope, he didn't gash us. And they got behind so fast that they couldn't even try to run the ball.
He put him behind. He was the reason why they got behind.
Okay.
You know Jalen Hurts didn't play well. Skip, baby, why you, at some point in time, you're going to have to admit what you see. You say your eye test. Well, your eyes is telling you.
I love Jalen Hurts. He ran into a buzzsaw last night.
So what about last week?
During the game, he lost his left tackle and he lost his left guard. So I'm going to give you that.
Okay.
But I'm not going to give you anything else other than Trevon Diggs made a Pro Bowl statement last night.
What did I tell you?
Pro Bowl.
What did I tell you?
I
said, Skip, he has Pro Bowl, All-Pro potential. You watch him play, he has the skills, and he's only getting better because he's understanding how to study tape. He's reading formations, he's reading splits, and he's also looking at the quarterback. Oh, 3 steps, I'm jumping this.
Okay. 3 games, 3 interceptions, 1 in each game.
Yes.
And what did Jerry Jones say after the game last night? He's a receiver faking it as a DB.
Oh, he got tremendous hands.
And I saw Coach Saban on with Peyton and Eli on ESPN2 last night in the other broadcast, saying that, you don't underestimate his receiver skills, that they think his ball skills are right up there with anybody. Well, guess what? They're probably up there close to what his brother can do, who's obviously a very good receiver.
But, Skip, you know the really good corners all had good hands. You look at Deion hands. You look at Charles Woodson hands. You look at Rod Woodson hands. The only historically great corner, Darrelle Revis didn't get a whole lot of interceptions, but the ball didn't come his way. But those other guys that I mentioned, if you threw the ball in their direction and they got their hands on it, it wasn't hitting the ground. It was going back the other way.
I got it. Well, that's what I got at one corner.
Yes.
Jerry concluded on Trevon that he is a difference maker. I've told you from the start that a guy that you saw coming, Micah Parsons, he is a difference maker. He is changing the way that whole unit plays. It's contagious energy and playmaking. And he was wreaking havoc on poor Lane Johnson, who once upon a time, before a bunch of injuries derailed him, he was at the top of the line for the right tackle, right? And what happened last night, if we could see the holding call late in the game, he just finally said, I can't deal with you anymore, and he tackled him and got a holding call. Lane Johnson had to tackle Micah Parsons.
Well, Parsons got a hands to the face that he didn't call, but he got a hold of him.
He was going to just annihilate poor Jalen Hurts in the pocket. There's no way he was going to get the pass off, which happened about 4 other times. And the point was, here's the bottom line. The punchline to this is that, would you believe Lane Johnson came up to Micah after the game and said, would you give me one of your jerseys?
Right.
So that's how much respect. Has Lane Johnson been in some big battles before?
Yeah.
Against some really good edge rushers?
The thing is that Lane hasn't had to deal with a guy as quick. Most of the guys are bigger. They don't have the fast twitch like that, and that's why your linebackers, Skip, a lot of time, you get your T.J. Watts, you get your Von Millers. Those guys are a little twitchy than, say, a Myles Garrett. Now, don't think that Myles Garrett, I'm not saying Myles Garrett can't bend the edge, but they're a little twitchy. And this is a rookie. And you're talking about a guy that's Lane Johnson been in the league probably a decade coming off injury. So he doesn't have that same quickness, that same pop he wants.
For Micah's jersey, could we exchange jerseys? That's you know this. That's the ultimate sign of respect. I don't know if you ever wanted to trade jerseys.
No, we didn't do that.
You just didn't do it.
Well, we did. I mean, I think I got me and Ray's exchange jersey when I went back to Denver, but it wasn't a thing like it is now, Skip. You only normally did that, your helmets with the Pro Bowl.
Okay.
But now guys exchange jersey every game.
I'm going to remind you, DeMarcus Lawrence will be back at mid-year, and he's up at the top. He's a top 5, not so much an edge rusher, but a defensive end who can play the run and the pass.
So you going to take Michael Parsons off the field?
We'll figure that out. We're going to be so deep, and I'm going to remind you, Keanu Neal will be back, I assume, next Sunday. He's on the COVID list, and they are now a 5.5-point favorite over Carolina, and I have respect for Carolina. Carolina, obviously, without your little man, Christian McCaffrey.
Right. And J.C. Horn.
J.C. Horn is down, but the point is that here they go, and Keanu Neal will be back. And then remember, Michael Gallup will be back sooner than later. Am I right about that? And my right tackle, Lyle Collins, will be back in, 3 more games?
Well,
he will be back.
How we know he ain't tried to bribe another collector?
We don't know that, but he is. It's not like he had a season-ending injury.
Right.
He did not. None of these are season-ending. They will all come back, and as they do, my team will get healthier and hotter and healthier and hotter, and the momentum is going to just go right through the roof of AT&T.
Look at
Well, I'm just... They've got Carolina and the Giants to come at home.
Oh, so you overlooking the Giants? You overlooking Carolina and the Giants, huh? You chalk those up as victories.
I'm just saying, I'm licking my chops.
You licking your chops?
Wow.
You hear that, Giants?
Yeah. In all my time of watching a Dak Prescott team, never seen him play at a higher level or them look more like an NFC contender. Because I'm going to remind you, as great as they were his rookie year, 13-3, what happened? First round of the playoffs, they got a bye, obviously, and they got Aaron Rodgers at home. What was the score after a quarter? It was 21-3, Aaron Rodgers.
If you're fortunate enough to make the playoffs, it's going to happen again. Okay,
and then what happened when they came out here to the game at the Coliseum 2018 when they won the division? What happened? They were down 20-7 at halftime. That won't happen with this team. New spirit, I keep telling you, a new confidence, a new swagger to this team. I loved what I saw. I've never been more impressed since Dak Prescott took over as quarterback than I was off last night off my eye test. You are in trouble. The league is in trouble because if this team continues on the arc it's on, it's going to be a contender right up there with Tampa, right up there with the Rams, right up there with the Packers to win the NFC. It's going to be the team nobody wants to deal with in the postseason.
You do this every year.
I don't do it every year. I've never said any of the things I just said on this show. I've never said them before about my Dallas Cowboys.
I remember when your Dallas Cowboys went to Green Bay and beat the brakes off of Aaron Rodgers, and you came in here and you did a backflip. I thought you were Simone Biles.
All new.
All
new.
Now.
That's the only time I've ever been compared to Simone Biles.
Yeah, you turned
the last time.
Yeah, and here you are, the Cowboy. Oh, you see what Dak did? He outplayed Aaron Rodgers.
I don't think I said that.
You doing it again, Skip?
That was more of a Zeke game than a Dak game.
You see how I am?
Yeah.
I'm humble in victory.
No, you're
I'm gracious in defeat.
Horrified is what you are right now.
I'm not.
You are
because I can name 5 teams off the top of my head better than your Cowboys.
Yeah, no one is humble at that table in defeat or in victory. Not around here, not on this show.
Your day coming, though.
No, your day has
Let's
arrived.
Skip enjoy this right now.
No, I'm not letting Skip enjoy nothing.
No mercy. Well, the Cowboys dominated the Eagles last night in a 41-21 victory. Dak Prescott threw 3 touchdowns in his first game back in Dallas since injuring his ankle last October, and afterwards admitted it was an emotional experience playing in front of the home fans again. He also added, quote, "I feel like I'm playing the best I've ever played." How about that? Shannon, where would you rank Dak in the MVP race right now?
Well, he ain't in the top 5, so I rank him right there. So he not, okay, I got Derek Carr, 3-0, 400 yards passing per game, and won 2 games in overtime. We know the teams that he's beat. Matthew Stafford, 3-0. Changed the Rams' trajectory, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception. Kyler Murray, averaging 335 yards passing the game to go along with 7 passing touchdowns and 3 rushing touchdowns. Josh Allen, the Bills have scored 35 and 43 points in the last 2 games. And your guy, Tom Terrific.
Yeah.
He can't be in front of GOAT. Now, is he in front of the GOAT? I didn't think
It's
so.
my turn?
No, it's not your turn just yet. So I just gave you 5 guys. So he outside of the top 5 automatically. And I'm going to throw Derrick Henry in there because Derrick Henry is running away with the rushing thing. I know it's an early sample size, but he got almost 400 yards rushing the football. But anyway, now.
So now you got Dak down to what, 7?
Whoa. Skip. You asked me, was it your turn? I said no.
Yeah.
So I don't even really know where you commented on what I'm saying. I'm going to give you an opportunity to respond. Now, second, Dak Prescott. He is first in completion percentage. But did you know he's only 14th in yards per attempt? He's 16th in plays of 20 yards or more. That's tied with Big Ben. Big Ben went from 38 on Sunday to 44. He aged 6 years in one day. We know he can't throw them all down the field. That's who your guy's tied with big plays.
You got jokes, lame jokes, but jokes.
12 fewer than Derek Carr. Derek Carr running away with that right now. And the Cowboys, you skip. Y'all really should be 1-2. You know good and well the Chargers should have beat you. The Chargers should have beat you.
I don't know.
You do know that, but you got off the hook. Never. Hey, you know what? I'm not going to even say it like that. You know what? You're 2-1. I got 5-6 guys in front of you right now for the MVP.
I think you just named 6. So you got Dak Prescott 7th. Did you watch and hear and take that to heart? Dak Prescott.
Okay, so where
Dakota Rain Prescott.
Okay, so where
R-E-I-G-N Rain.
Well, I want to know where Skip Bayless has it.
You know what? I think you've been watching the wrong league. Are you watching like Premier League, maybe football?
No, I'm watching the right league.
This is American football.
Okay.
It's called the National Football League.
Yeah.
Maybe it's been so long since you played. You've forgotten. You've gotten mixed up.
I watch it occasionally.
Are you?
Yeah.
Maybe you get your wires crossed up there in your palatial estate in Bel Air. I don't know what you're watching. I told you yesterday, I give Derek Carr the slight edge after 3 games because he has overcome John Gruden, who does not believe in him as a starting quarterback for the Las Vegas Raiders, and he's gotten them to 3-0, as you said, with 2 late clutch passes in overtime to save the day against the Ravens, obviously, and then the Dolphins Sunday. I'm going to give that a number 1 to the 1A, who is Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr.
Man, stop.
Tom Brady leads the league in touchdown passes with 10. He's second in yards to only Derek Carr, who leads in yards passing, just strictly yards passing. And what have we seen from Tom Brady against my Dallas Cowboys on opening night? And I think that was a way more significant NFC game than anybody gave it credit for. It took Tom Brady, with 1:24 left on the clock, driving them 57 yards in 11 plays, to pull that one out at the wire with a walk-off field goal. Am I right about that? Then he came right back against a division rival, Atlanta. 5 touchdown passes.
Really, Skip?
Followed up Sunday at Rams, in which they could not protect Tom Brady from the great Aaron Donald, the greatest defensive player ever. And what did he do against the great Aaron Donald and maybe the best defensive player?
Lose. That's what he did. He lost.
He threw for 432 yards with 0 interceptions. That's one for the mantle. That's a masterpiece.
Who put losses up on the mantle?
I don't know.
Only Skip Bayless and the Cowboys.
Interesting. So that's his body of work this year, and I'd say that's a 1A to Derek Carr, which brings me to my man, Dak Prescott, who has just skyrocketed up the ladder to 3rd.
He in front of Matthew Stafford.
3rd, absolutely.
Man, you watch him. Stop this.
He is completing 78% of his passes. 78%. That leads by far the whole league. He is deadly dart throwing accurate. And what did he do on opening night at Tampa Bay?
He lost.
He drove them 60 yards in 11 plays to set up the 48-yard field goal that I thought for a moment had won it. Then I thought, it's the GOAT. And again, you must have thought, they're going to win it because you have no respect for the GOAT because you don't even think he's the GOAT. But the point is, that put Dallas up 29-28 with 1:24 left. I'm going to give him high marks for that drive because he faced a 3rd and 1 and had to hit my man CD for 6 yards. And then he faced in that same drive a 3rd and 11 and had to hit CD up the sideline for 31 yards. You want to talk about clutch? He went 6 out of 8.
Well, Skippy, I'll give you. You know what? I might have would have put him in 3rd place. Had instead of setting up the game go ahead field goal, had he put a touchdown on the board. But he didn't do that.
So then we come right back against Justin Herbert, and boy, was he good Sunday at my homeboy.
Yes,
he put it on him. He outplayed Patrick Mahomes at my homeboy.
I'm glad you brought him up because I'm putting him in front of Dak too.
Really? Okay. So the point. So now Dak.
glad you brought his name up. I totally forgot about him.
All Dak did in that game was to drive them 49 yards in 11 plays late in the game by going 5 of 5 in that drive to set up the game-winning field goal. There was a lot of clock mismanagement. We even saw some at the end of the half last night from Mike
I don't know
McCarthy.
what McCarthy did. Skip, why would he call a timeout and get that extra minute and 5 seconds?
It's just one quick timeout, and you save 20 seconds, and maybe you got a shot to go get a field goal.
Thank you.
And you're on fire on offense.
But that's your coach. You think you're going to win something with him. Okay, but go ahead.
Okay, so my point is there was a 3rd and 4 from his own 19 that he hit my man Zeke out of the backfield for 7 yards. It was a huge throw, clutch catch by Zeke. That was a big-time drive. And then what did I see last night? I just saw tour de force. In fact, I can't even remember his incompletions last night. 21 or 26 he was for 238. And if we could see the one throw to Cedric Wilson up the boundary that was just sensational, that was ruled out of bounds.
It wasn't no rule. He was out of bounds. You make it seem like they...
I got it. But was this not a great throw? How about an athletic play? He's rolling the wrong way, cross body on the run, and just throws a strike to little Cedric slot receiver Wilson, who made an incredible grab and couldn't get the second foot down.
Well, why the official said he was in?
Was that not a great throw and a great catch?
I know 5 guys on top of my head can make that exact throw.
I'm demonstrating that was an incompletion last night.
Right. So why are we talking about it?
Because I'm showing you how lethally accurate he was on everything that he threw. It was Dak playing at the highest level.
That's a foul ball, Skip.
Okay.
The only time we talk about foul ball, somebody catch them, they got a beer in one hand and catch the ball in the other.
Okay.
Or somebody holding a baby and they catch the ball. Why are we talking about a foul ball? That's a foul ball.
Okay, that was a 500-foot foul ball. That's what that was.
It's a foul ball. It don't count.
500 feet, just barely curved left of the foul pole and traveled 500 feet. That's what happened.
I cannot believe you sat right there on that seat right there and said Dak Prescott is playing better than Matthew Stafford.
Third. Yeah. Well, look at what Matt Stafford did. Maybe you didn't notice that he got to beat the Bears in the first game. The Bears.
You beat the Eagles.
Did you see what the Bears are doing?
You beat the Eagles.
Okay. And then Matt Stafford went to Indy, now 0-3, and struggled to win against a winless team. They barely eked out 27 points, and not until late did they pull away to win the game, 27-24. But are you impressed with that?
Oh, hold on.
I wasn't that impressed.
But this is what I'm most impressed with. The team that beat you guys, he blew the doors off them. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers beat you. Matthew Stafford blew the doors off them.
Yeah, but it took the GOAT being the GOAT to beat us.
No.
It was a walk-off.
I know.
It was a buzzer beater.
And guess what? And Matthew Stafford beat the brakes off the GOAT.
Really?
Beat him down.
He was throwing against D. Delaney at cornerback. It was their 4th-string corner, a guy who was out of the league last year, a guy who has bounced around, is on his 5th NFL team, undrafted out of the Citadel. Citadel.
I love how you do that.
And you're going to give him high marks for that game after he got off to a horrendous start and threw a ball that should have been picked by Jamel Dean that was wild high to Cooper Kupp?
I noticed.
Really? That's the MVP?
I noticed.
He underthrew Deshaun twice in the first quarter. They're like home runs.
And guess what? Hey, you better be glad.
Well,
because he done put 48 on you.
Okay, well, I'm glad that you're acknowledging that because it disqualifies him from your, would you have him like 3rd on your list for MVP?
I got him 2nd.
Okay, you got him 2nd?
Yes.
Well, I just shot big holes in that
No, you did not with 9 touchdowns, 1 interception, and he's undefeated.
Wow. Okay.
You can't shoot no holes in that.
Chicago, Indy, and then that first quarter stunk it up and got to play against D. Delaney.
Y'all beat Philly. Okay, I'll give you credit, San Diego. I'll be scared, San Diego. L.A. Chargers, I'll give you credit for that one. But I'm not giving you no credit for Philly.
Did you mention Kyler? We got to.
Yeah, Kyler.
Okay.
Right there.
I love what Kyler's doing, but I will remind everybody at home, if the Minnesota kicker, this is in Arizona, in Phoenix, if the Minnesota kicker doesn't miss a 37-yard field goal, they are 2-1.
And guess what? And if Jared Cook can sit down, guess what, Skip? Guess what he did again on Sunday?
He did the same.
Yeah, but people, well, Shannon, how you gonna say the man don't have no football? You trying to say?
He's on his 8th NFL team, and I guess there's a reason, because every time he plays against my team, he bedevils my team.
But Skip, you saw the catch that he made Sunday up the sideline. You see catches that he made.
I never understand. Yeah. And they cut him again. They cut him, and they cut him, and they cut him. I guess that's
and then Josh Allen. Did you see Josh Allen?
He finally looked like Josh Allen for one game this past Sunday.
2 games. He scored 35 and 43. So for me, Skip, hey, and the GOAT, I can't believe you got Dak in front of the GOAT.
I don't. I got him third. I got the GOAT 1A to Derek Carr.
He outside the top 5. So what are we gonna do with Derrick Henry?
Well, you tell me.
Derrick Henry, he's the best running back in football.
Yeah. Didn't they lose to Kyler on opening day?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Oh, he lost to Kyler that's undefeated.
By the way, your Rams have to deal with Kyler this Sunday.
All right, well, we deal with him. Deal with him.
Huh?
You want to put something on it?
No.
I didn't think so. I didn't think so.
Well, it's at Rams. You should win.
What they got to do with it?
Huh? You got Coach Rah-Rah running all over the sidelines. You'll have him all jacked up, right?
That's what he gonna do.
Okay.
Skip, I'm sorry that your guy doesn't get all it. Hold up, see, our guy is very motivational. He gets them riled up. They come out the field. He high-fived them, let them know good job. Yeah. Your guy just standing up there with that menu.
It's a bunch of phony rah-rah.
He got a Panda Express. He got a Panda Express menu. Just got it folded like this here. Ain't said nothing.
You got to fake it till you make it, Coach McVay.
You ain't gonna make nothing.
My guy played like a $75 million man last night. That's all I know. Well, my guy is rising in the MVP, and I give my guy a real shot to win the MVP. And I will remind you that my guy going into this year, what did the odds make? They know and see all, that they are omniscient. They had him 5th in the MVP
Behind
race.
Who? Behind Matthew Stafford? Behind my homeboy?
Whatever happened to my homeboy?
Okay. Count him out if you will.
Well, I just did.
Count him out if you will.
I didn't even bring up his name.
Skip, you know he still has 8 touchdowns. He a little heavy on the interception.
He may be sort of suffering some color blindness because he can't see which color his jersey is versus the opponents, right? I don't know.
Well, you know, guess who they play on Sunday? The Eagles.
Yeah.
Now the game's gonna be closer than you think because the Eagles would all of a sudden realize that we can run the football and run the football. So the game's gonna be close. But my homeboy's gonna throw for 400.
Okay, all right. Well, good.
If Dak Prescott, what did Dak throw for? Dak threw for 238.
Yep.
My homeboy threw for 450.
Okay. You better be careful. You are sleeping on my Cowboys and my quarterback, again, they're going to run the ball as much as they throw it. It's going to be a 50-50 year because that's the magic formula. Yeah, did he dink to CD last night on the first throw to CD?
Yeah, okay, what was that defense?
Wait, I just got to show it.
No, we got to show it.
I got to see it. This is 44 yards to my man CD. This opened it up right here. I'll take that. Is that a dink and dash?
What is that?
Woo-hoo!
Tell me the defense. I don't know what defense that is. I don't know what defense you're playing here. Well, you let the guy, don't reroute him, and just let him run straight up the seam.
What a throw that is.
What is that?
Whew. Does that look like a dink to you? Maybe it's a Dak. Is it a dink or a Dak? I'll take the Dak.
So, in other words, that was a big play because that was over 20 yards. So that gave him 9. He's tied with Big Ben. We know what Big Ben do.
Well, right now, the Pittsburgh Steelers are completely decimated. Nobody's been hit harder by injuries than they have.
Yeah. The quarterback looks injured. The quarterback looked like he stayed 1 year too long, which I told you.
Sleeping on Dak Prescott.
Ain't nobody sleeping. I'm wide awake. Okay. But you tried to sleep on Derek Carr and Stafford and Kyler and Josh Allen
I didn't sleep
and Herbert.
On Derek Carr. I told you he's at the top.
And King Henry.
Yeah.
Best running back in the league. So can we stop having these debates? Well, who's the best running back? Stop. This is a silly question now. Now, we can debate, like when it comes to D-tackle, we can't debate that. Best defensive player, we can't debate that.
Okay.
When it comes to running backs, we can no longer debate who's the best running back in football. It's Derrick Henry.
Okay.
That's it.
Better offense, Tennessee or Dallas right now? You know who it is.
A.J. Brown hurt.
Okay.
And their offensive line, Tennessee's offensive line leaves a lot pass blocking.
Thank you. Next question.
Next question is guys.
Better offense, Rams or the Cowboys?
It's close.
They don't play that close.
Hey, it's close.
I didn't skip.
Closer than you think.
Close is Dallas and Fort Worth.
And the reason being the Cowboys are now 2-1. They find themselves leading the NFC East. They dominated both on offense and defense against their division rival last night. And are playing with the confidence that matches the preseason hype surrounding this team. So, Shannon, was what we saw last night a typical Cowboys mirage, or is this team the real deal?
Skip, is a song, I think it came out in the 70s.
By Hall & Oates?
Nah, this wasn't Hall & Oates. I think this was about maybe the Bee Gees.
The Bee Gees?
It's just an illusion.
Reference.
Just an illusion. Yeah. That's what y'all are, an illusion.
You liked Hall & Oates and the Bee Gees?
Yeah, I don't go up a lot of that. I listen to a lot. I'm very eclectic in my music. Skip, look. This is what you guys do every year. And the fans, bless their heart. I saw them out there last night, Skip. They had the jerseys on, the Dak and the CD and the old Emmett and the Michael Irvin. And they had the great ring ceremony, the great Cliff Harris and Drew Pearson. They got their ring. Jimmy Johnson was in the house.
Tony Dorsett was in there.
Everybody, I saw, they were electric.
Yep.
And the fans, they buy into this every year. At some point in time, if I'm a child, if every year I ask for something at Christmas and then Santa never came, at some point in time, I'm going to say, you know what? Santa full of it. At some point in time in the last 25 years, you got to say the Dallas Cowboys full of it. Because you haven't come through with what Skip Bayless and Jerry Jones been promising, which is a Super Bowl. So all you're doing is getting your hopes up. Look, let me tell you the real contenders.
Yep.
The Rams, the Bucks, the Packers, Arizona, and even the 49ers over you. You play in a terrible division. You play in a horrible division. So it's really hard to gauge, Skip, because everybody look good when they standing by themselves. You follow bodybuilding. Guys in the mirror, they posing, you put them online like, oh, man, you look good. Everybody they got him gassed up.
Or
you look
people
good.
Photoshop.
And then when they get to the competition and they get next to Big Hanny and they get next to Rolly and all the big guns, they're like, you don't look that good. So when you get next to the big guns, Tampa, what they do to you? Put you in your place. Rams, you got to face them, they're going to put you in your place. Arizona, y'all play them.
We do.
Woo, Kyler Murray. Let's see old Micah. I like Micah Parsons. Told you going to be rookie defensive player of the year. But let's see what's going to do with Kyler. Kyler going to run for about 100, throw for about 300. No, you're not contenders, and you need to stop giving the Cowboys fans false hope. You're selling. People go to jail for that, Skip. You can't keep promising things and not deliver. At some point in time, you know what? I'm going to call the Better Business Bureau on you.
Really?
Because you're selling false dreams.
I'm going to quote the great William Shakespeare, who said, he doth protest too much. I'm paraphrasing, but you doth protest too much.
I'm not protesting.
You're scared to death because you saw a tour de force last night. You saw different last night. You saw, dare I say, special last night. You saw a team on the rise that has come together around their young players like Micah Parsons and Tony Pollard. You, my friend, picked my Dallas Cowboys. I believe you're all over the map with these things. They change by the minute, but I think you wound up with them going 9-8. I believe that's what you said. 9-8.
I did.
And they will finish third in the division. I believe that's what you said.
Yep, you got them 12-5.
I have them 12-5, and I feel better than ever about 12-5.
Well, go to 14-3.
Because I start with my defense. My defense has turned into the turnover terrors. They are leading the league in takeaways.
You are.
I never thought those words would come out of my mouth. My team is leading the league in takeaways. That's why they are tied for first in turnover differential in the ratio of, because we're not giving the ball away. Dak made one mistake last night and only one. He held on the ball in the end zone. We could show it right now if you want to see it. I'll just get it out of the way.
Well, CD Lamb.
CD fell down.
Yeah, he was trying to go him on a looking route.
He tried to do a little jitterbug.
Yeah, he tried to do a look and try to cross the guy's face. He slipped.
And he slipped. And Dak held it, and all of a sudden, Hargrave just blew up the middle. And I do have one weak link. I'll be the first to acknowledge. I got
guard
one.
your center.
But especially my center,
Biotish.
Tyler Biotish. He's just not that guy. And I keep telling you, Connor McGovern, who played blocking back for a play last night because they're just trying to get him in the game.
Right.
He is really good at guard. He is really good. He can play tackle if you want him to. He also played for a whole year at Penn State. He played center.
Right.
Why isn't he in there? Because they drafted Tyler Biotish to be that guy. You know, like so they're clinging to their draft.
Oh yeah. I got to make.
Because we designated him as our future, right?
Skip. Truth be told, this is between me and you. Ain't nobody listening.
Yeah.
Your claim to fame right now is that you played the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to a very close ball game, who the Rams mollywopped on Sunday.
They did not.
That's your claim to fame.
They did not.
Skip, they blew the doors off them.
And then we went to the Chargers and beat the Chargers, who mollywopped your guy, my homeboy, who just completely unraveled in Kansas City. That's what we did.
Skip. You guys didn't have a turnover. My homeboy turned the ball over 4 times and they lost. Okay, I will concede that. The Chargers are a very good team. You guys beat them, but you know that shouldn't have happened. But to all of a sudden, after beating the Eagles, you come in here preening. I mean, you just up here just like, look at my Cowboys. You beat the Eagles.
Wow. And then last night, there's one Cowboy that we never talk about on this show. But you want to talk about sneaky good? You want to talk about Dalton Schultz? Every time I look up, he's getting better and better. He had the most targets last night. He had 7 targets and caught 2 touchdown passes. Could we quickly see them just to demonstrate what this guy can do out of Stanford? That'll work. Again, they just crossed up the defense completely, but then he gives it. And this guy, he can move a little bit. Yeah. I'm not saying he's Shannon Sharpe, but that shows a little athletic ability, a little bit of burst from a tight end.
He's better than Jarwin.
Okay. He's a better receiver than a blocker like Blake Jarwin, but he just seems to sneakily get open, right? People sleep on him until he wakes up in their end zone, right?
Exactly. Okay. Exactly.
Okay. So I got that going for me. And Amari had a very quiet night last night. CD had a fairly quiet night, except for that first burst of 44 yards. But I got CD Lamb and Amari Cooper. And I'm liking little Cedric in the slot because he's a much better slot receiver. They had to sort of stick CD in the slot last year. And I love him split out. And we still have Michael Gallup coming back who can run by anybody and get deep. So I got that going for me. And he'll be back probably in a couple more games. And then I've got the Thunder and Lightning 1-2 punch. We have found the magic formula. You run it a little more than you throw it. I'm going to say the stat one more time. In the Dak Prescott era, when they run it more than they throw it, they are 26-0. Does that not scare you to death? 26-0. And I'm sure Kellen Moore is aware of that stat because they went 41 runs last night to only 26 passes. I'll take it every night because they punish people with their running game.
Because for whatever reason, the Eagles felt they could play shell coverage with the safeties being off, and they could play a light box, which is a 6 or 7 man box. So they didn't want to drop that safety down because they felt the corners, with the exception of Slay, was back. Because remember, McLeod was already out, and then his backup ended up getting hurt, and so they had to go to the third guy. And the other guy on the other side isn't very good.
But Slay is maybe the best. He's right at the top of the list.
Yeah, he's one of the better corners, but I'm saying, Skip, he can't cover everybody.
Nope.
If he's got Amari, then you have CD and you have Cedric Wilson. If he's covering CD Lamb, then you have Amari and Cedric. So it's not like he can be all over the field.
Yep. My team is going to get
Your team ain't gonna do nothing
but better. And now we've got Carolina and the Giants at home. We're poised for takeoff.
So are you saying 2-0? You penciled already, and you've already penciled in 2-0.
Yeah, I have. I believe they can beat Carolina, and I know they can beat the Giants.
I heard what you said. Now all of a sudden, I believe they can. I said, you got them penciled in for 2-0? You like, yeah, I do.
Okay, I'll bet you 4 cases right now they win the next 2 games.
No.
You won't take it? No guts,
really?
No glory.
Well, I ain't got no guts.
Okay.
They playing without C-Mac. Really, Skip?
All right.
Well, they playing without J.C. Horn.
Well, yes, I penciled them in. I might have inked them in, except my pen just ran out of ink. I don't know if that's a bad sign.
Yeah, that's a great sign for your Cowboys, because your Cowboys going to run out of steam.
Really?
Yeah.
My Cowboys are different than they have ever been.
No, they're not. They're the same Cowboys. You just speak of them in different tone. Normally, they're 1 and 2. Normally, they're 0 and 3. And so now all of a sudden you're 2 and 1. You're speaking in such glowing terms, but you know this is a facade. You know this is not reality. You know this is a house that's built on quicksand.
Trevon Diggs is not a mirage. Micah Parsons is not a mirage. My new safeties, not mirages. My offensive line is not a mirage. In fact, Terrence Steele in place of Lyle Collins, I don't even hear his name called. He doesn't do anything wrong, so nobody's beating him off the edge, right?
Okay.
And they are just pile driving for Zeke.
Leonard Williams just line up over Biotic or Williams and just bull him. Just like Hargrave, just like Fletcher Cox was doing. Just driving right there in Dak's lap.
I will give you a chance now publicly to amend your prediction. You said 9 and 8. Would you like to go up to at least 10 and 7?
I'm not moving my pick just yet.
Just yet?
Just yet. I'm going to see over the next couple of games.
Well, if they win the next 2, are you going to amend your pick?
I might go up 1 game. I might not.
Somebody is easing in the direction of he knows the Cowboys are much better than he thought.
No. No, Skip, the division is much worse than I thought. That's what it is.
That's not the point.
That is the point.
That's not the principle of this. The principle is if you eye test the Dallas Cowboys, they're just way better than you thought they'd be.
And I've eye tested Washington, I've eye tested the Giants, and I've eye tested the Eagles. Okay. And they're much worse than I thought.
Okay, so you like my 12-5 prediction?
No.
Because if you're right about that, then they're going to just waltz through this division.
No.
Am I right?
No.
Why not?
You're not what?
I don't get it.
Because you're the Cowboys. What don't you get about that? You're the Cowboys.
I told you history is now history.
Skip, you're a baby. Eventually, you're going to make a mess. I got to keep the bib on you. I ain't take the bib off yet because I know you're going to mess up your Sunday clothes. And now I'm going to have to change you again. So, no, I'm going to keep the bib on. 9-8. Now, leave me be.
I'll leave you be in your misery.
That's okay. You're feeling real good.
Yeah,
You're feeling real good. I was going to bed. My sister, I got a phone call from my sister because no call ID because that's the only one that comes up like that. I know, Shannon, just, hey, just let Skip have. No, I don't want to let Skip have his moment. She always side with Skip. Shannon, let Skip have his moment.
I know, but it's not my moment. It's my season.
No, okay.
That's the point.
You see how he glow, Libby? You see how he glow?
Thank you,
I love
Libby.
your sister, Shannon, just trying to help you out there. That's very nice of her. Thoughtful.
No mercy.
The 76ers open their training camp this week, and as expected, Ben Simmons, well, he wasn't there. GM Daryl Morey compared the team's disconnect with Simmons to the Packers drama with Aaron Rodgers this summer that eventually ended with the reigning MVP returning to Green Bay. Meanwhile, Doc Rivers still said the situation could get resolved, and Joel Embiid didn't hold back his feelings, guys. Take a listen.
I'm just disappointed that, he's not here because he knows it too. He knows we can win together. Of course, we want him back. He's a big piece of, what we've been building the past few years. Obviously, there's a lot of stuff that have happened a bit, in between, and I know a little bit about all of that, but that's not really for me to deal.
Shannon, how do you interpret all this?
Sam Amick reported, Skip, he says, Ben Simmons believes playing with Joel Embiid has run its course, and Sixers Media Day messages fall flat with him. Everybody's trying to increase Ben Simmons' value now.
Yep.
The entire league, there's 30 teams, 29 other teams know that Ben Simmons wants out. They've also, behind the scenes, that know that the Sixers have tried to trade Ben Simmons before. Ben Simmons knows that. Now, Daryl Morey said, it reminds me of a situation in Green Bay where things were said, and then Aaron Rodgers ended up staying in Green Bay. So since Morey took it there, I'm going to take it right there with him, Skip. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, after losing the NFC Championship game, they asked the head coach, Matt LaFleur, do you believe you can win a championship with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback? And Matt LaFleur says, I don't know if I can answer that right now. They go to Devontae Adams, say, Devontae, what do you think the turning point of the game was? Well, it was 3rd and goal at the 8. I saw a crease, and we ended up with an incompletion. I just want you to tell me, Skip, what do you think Aaron Rodgers would have said and done had Matt LaFleur and Devontae Adams said that?
Good points. I'll co-sign on both of them.
Exactly what Ben Simmons is going to do.
Aaron Rodgers would not be the quarterback of the Packers as we speak.
Exactly. And so when you look at it, Skip, Ben Simmons has made it abundantly clear. We came out here, that was a Sunday night, that was a Sunday game, Skip. I came out here the next morning, and you say, no, they can make amends. I say, Skip, it's over. You can't say that, Skip. I'm not saying I'm Joel Embiid or I'm this great athlete, but I'm talking to you from an athlete's perspective. When criticism comes from your coach and your teammate, it stings. It hits differently than the media. It hits differently from somebody outside of the building. Because you always say, Skip, we're a family. If your family says something about you, it hurts differently than somebody outside of the family. So now we're a family.
Okay.
So this is over. What they're trying to do is increase Ben Simmons' value. And I don't know how they increase his value because Ben Simmons' tape, his resume is his resume, Skip. They want Dame Lillard. I don't think that's a secret. But if you think the Portland Trailblazers would swap you Ben Simmons for Dame Lillard straight up, you are out of your minds. All of them. Gourds or whatever it is. Skip, I don't know if you know anything about gourds, but we used to cut gourds up and hang them up so the birds could build bird houses in them. That's what we used to do with gourds. That's before a lot of you guys' time. But Skip, all this that sounds good. Oh, we knew we could win a championship with him and we could do yada, yada, yada. But just 5 months ago, not even 5 months ago, just 4 months ago, that's not what you said. You questioned. You didn't know the answers. Now, after you slept on it, you know the answer. Oh, we can win with Ben. And now, all of a sudden, the turning point of the game wasn't where you had a layup and you got a free throw. Ben Simmons is not buying it, and neither am I. I'm not buying it $3 for $1. So I know Ben isn't.
Okay, first to Daryl Morey's point, the comparison to Aaron Rodgers' situation in Green Bay. I will remind you that you said all along through the offseason there is no way Aaron Rodgers plays for the Packers this year. You said that.
I did.
And much of the media world said the same. Right? I kept saying no, he wants to go back to Green Bay. He just wants it under his conditions. He wants some control, some input into the play calling, which he took credit for the other night. He said, well, he suggested the first play. I thought, okay, that's pretty good. Like he could sign off on it. He said, then I call the rest of the plays in the game-winning drive. Okay, we get that. He also didn't get any more money, and I thought he wanted more money. But he wants to retire a Packer, and I believe that from the start.
He wants control more than money.
That is correct. And he got a little, but not a lot. Okay, so they sort of paid homage to him just a little bit. They patted him on the head and said, okay, we'll give you this. Well, they gave him
Randall
Cobb back. Okay, we got that. Okay, then we go to Doc Rivers. He continues to insist that his remark was misconstrued. He just said it so indelicately. He just said it so badly that maybe part of him was just trying to dismiss the question in and of itself. I don't even want to go there right now. I'm just in the throes of the heat of losing a series we should not have lost.
Even if he didn't mean it in the way it came out. Skip, you can't say, I don't know if I can answer whether or not we can win a championship with a guy.
He left it open. Instead of saying, next question, I don't even want to deal with that right now. That would have been suspicious enough. But the way he answered it was so... Well, he just sort of slamming the door.
Skip, why not Skip? Even if you don't believe it. Sometimes my college coach just say, son, sometimes I got to lie to you guys. Even if I know we're up against it, I'm going to say we have a tremendous chance to win this ball game. Why couldn't Doc Rivers say, of course? We're all disappointed that we lost because we expected to win this game. You got the two best players. Normally, Skip, in basketball, you got the two best players. What's going to happen?
Okay.
You're going to normally win.
And by the way, just for the record, they were the number one seed in the East last year. And for the record, back in 2019, they took Toronto on its way to winning the championship to the last drop. The luckiest shot I've ever seen in the history of the playoffs, shot by my guy, Kawhi Leonard. It bounced 7 times around the rim from the corner. It's impossible that shot went in, but it did go in.
That might have been the equivalent of Justin Tucker's kick.
Yeah, I guess so, except that there was really nothing lucky about Justin Tucker's kick.
But Skip, 66 yards, he hit the cross. Normally he hits the crossbar and bounce back.
Okay. But it had enough oomph on it that it went
one rotation.
Yeah, okay, I got it. So now we get to Joel Embiid. So they did all the damage control. His superiors did all the GM and the coach did all they could do in this media session yesterday. And I do believe that the franchise wants to dig in and just insist that he come and play or get fined through the rest of this year. And if he wants to leave, what is it, $33 million on the table, he can leave 33.
Because he's starting the first year of that $170 million contract. This is the first year in it.
Yeah, and he's got 4 more years left on that deal, just for the record. Now we get to his running mate, so to speak, Joel Embiid. I thought Joel did even more damage yesterday than he did post-game. Because he just wouldn't back off. He wouldn't show the least hint of contrition at all. There was no giving in to this at all. I shouldn't have said that, or I don't know what I was thinking, or I was just hurt because we lost, or something like that.
He definitely exacerbated the situation. Well, if they came off of Steph and Clay, what do you think the Sixers are going to do?
What? And he kept saying, I don't think I said anything wrong. He said, I really believe that was the turning point of the game. And he kept saying, I'm honest. I can't lie.
Okay, well, you doing it now, saying you want it back?
Occasionally in a relationship, Ernestine, There are things you just can't
Lie
say.
to him.
When you have a conflict, you just got to swallow it, because there's certain things. What do you all say about telling the truth? You can't blurt out.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not even the truth. Or I wouldn't be married much longer.
Skip, sometimes it's better to keep the peace than to be right.
Right.
And Joel
Embiid,
rather be right than try to keep the peace.
Yeah.
And in the process of him trying to be right, he's so wrong in this situation.
I'm honest, I can't lie. That's just me. So I don't have any regrets, because I don't feel like I put anybody in a situation where they had to feel bad. Wrong. You were dead wrong about that. You made him feel 100 times worse than he already felt, because you said that was why we lost that game.
Right.
Well, obviously, a whole lot of other things happened in that game, and I've pointed out that Joel had 8 turnovers in that game.
But he didn't mention that.
Okay.
He didn't say that, we had a chance, we had a lead, we had a 1-point lead, and I had the ball and I threw it out of bounds. It could have been a 3-point lead, or it could have been a 4-point lead. He didn't mention anything of his transgressions, what he did in the game. It was only that one play. So Skip, they played 12 minutes, 48 minutes. And the only thing that he could remember with the turning point was when Ben Simmons passed up a dunk to Thibault for a layup. That's the only thing that he could remember.
And he said, I also pointed out that Matisse missed one of the free throws, and he said, I shouldn't have done that. I couldn't throw. Why did I throw him under the bus for missing a free throw? Well, the guy you ran over with the bus about 15 times was your running mate.
And Doc was driving it. Doc had the bus, you had Ben, and you just shoved him in front of the bus.
No, that is true. So back to your Sam Amick point out of The Athletic that just got posted here a few minutes ago. The point from Ben Simmons' camp is that Ben has decided he does not mesh with Joel. Well, I've never heard that before. You've said it before, but he has never indicated, nobody from his camp.
Right.
Because all they did was be the first seed in the East.
Right.
All they did was come within a lucky shot of moving on. It would have been to the conference finals
against the Bucks,
and eliminated Toronto, who was on its path to win the championship.
Correct.
So they have had high success together. And again, I'm going to repeat, because I'm a Ben Simmons fan, Rookie of the Year, then 3 straight All-Star teams, and 2 straight defensive first-team All-NBA.
Yes.
And came very close to winning Defensive Player of the Year. So you got lots on your resume, and you've had high team success. But now the quote was from the camp that Ben Simmons has decided he needs the runways in the paint that he needs to succeed. Okay, runways in the paint. So he's saying he's clogging my path to the basket because he's posting, demanding the ball, and so I have to bounce it into him and then let him operate.
And I can't get to the paint if he in the paint.
Right.
And with Skip, remember, we talked about it. That was that year that Jared Dudley said what he said. Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid missed a game. Ben Simmons went, 31 double figures rebounds and probably like 6 assists. And then you mentioned last year against Rudy Gobert and Utah. We know what Utah represents defensively.
No, Joel.
He goes 42.
And
so I'm saying he
12 out of 13 free throws.
So I'm saying I'm looking at it like, hold on. He plays better when there's no Joel Embiid in the ball game. Because now he's like, well, I can occupy the space that he normally occupies. And Skip, who's going to guard him? The guy's 6'10", 6'11". You can't put no point guard on him. So,
and if he decides to guard your point guard, see Trey.
And when he decides,
you're done.
And when he decides to put
Trey shot 5 of 23 in Game 7.
And what, Skip? When he decides to put his head down and go to the basket, what? You can't do anything.
Because that's what I love about him. And it's hard for me not to love the fit here because even though on paper it doesn't work, you're correct about that. When I look at W's and L's, it worked because they were the 1 seed in the East. Somehow together, I know they each missed a few games, but together they have had high rate of success.
Skip, sometimes you have to look at things like a relationship, and I know what Philly is saying. We don't want this guy to go somewhere else and become the Ben Simmons we believe he can be. It's like a relationship. You try to hold on to somebody because you don't want them to go elsewhere and be the person they want to be. But at the end of the day, Skip, you got to let them be happy.
I have a very high-placed source in that power structure in Philadelphia, all the way to the top.
Yes.
Who told me 2 years ago they have decided as a franchise Ben is more valuable than Joel. I disagree with that.
Right.
But that's where they were heading with this, which is why they are fighting for dear life, clinging to Ben Simmons.
Right. Because at least, okay, the thing is, how many more years are we going to get with Joel Embiid because of his injury history? He's a big man, and big men that have knee problems, that have feet problems, that have back problems. Skip, you don't get healthier at that size as you age.
Nope. And I hope Zion, God bless him, I'm knocking on wood, because here we go, he's had another foot injury. But to your point, that's what happens when you weigh that much.
Yes.
And I don't know how much Joel weighs, but it's...
Joel, he got to be 300.
Got to be close.
No close.
Yeah, but he's 7 feet tall.
Yes.
Okay.
So
I mean, Zion's only
6'5", 6'6".
Yeah.
Joel Embiid is every bit of over 300.
I'll buy that. Okay, so...
And running up and down. Skip, I don't know if really God intended men to be 300 pounds to be able to agile to be up and down the court.
Running and jumping on their knees and feet.
Yes.
Not a good idea.
On a nightly basis.
The Sixers are in trouble.
I don't know how this ends. I don't know how it ends. I don't know. A lot of drama. No mercy. So Dallas moved into first place in the NFC East after beating Philly 41-21. And for the second week in a row, the Cowboys made a concerted effort to get their running backs involved, led by Ezekiel Elliott, getting 17 carries for 95 yards with 2 touchdowns. And since training camp, Skip has said that Zeke will have a bounce-back season. So, Shannon, after last night, are you seeing a bounce-back season for Zeke now?
No, because we've lowered our expectations of Zeke, Skip. And I think that's what we needed to do. If you look at Zeke in his first 3 years, he averaged 22 carries a game, 101 yards a game, which led the league in rushing all 3 years. His first 3 years, 3 guys since the merger averaged more than 101 yards per game. Eric Dickerson, Earl Cameron, Edgerrin James. All 3 are in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. Currently, Zeke averages 15 carries, 66 yards. He averaged 65 yards a game last year. Does that seem like a bounce-back year to you?
Is it my turn?
No.
Okay.
All I'm saying is what we've done is that we do not no longer expect Zeke Elliott to be the bell cow back. You mentioned Tony Pollard needs to get more carries. Everybody's mentioning Tony Pollard. So how can a guy be a bounce back, be your bell cow if you're saying his backup needs to get more carries than him? Ain't nobody saying, man, they need to get somebody, whoever the backup is, and Derrick Henry's backup. He's not demanding to get more carries. Dalvin Cook. Christian McCaffrey, when he's healthy, nobody's clamoring for Chuba Hubbard to get more carries. But that's what you're saying. So how can a guy have a bounce-back season if you're saying the backup needs more carries? What has happened, Skip, is that we've lowered our expectations of what we expect from Zeke. So because what we see now is like, man, he looking good. But then when you project it out, 15 carries, 66 yards a game, that's not bounce-back, Skip. I hate to break it to you.
Okay, my turn. Here's what's happening. Opening night at Tampa, it's the one team in this league you just cannot run against. The Rams did not run on the Bucs the other day. Am I right about that?
No, not for any effective. I think they have maybe 100 yards.
Okay, but you just can't.
No, you're not going to.
You don't go in saying, we know we can get 150 against them.
Right.
You just can't. So at Tampa, opening night, Zeke goes 11 carries for a grand total of 33 yards, which is obviously a 3 yard per carry. Okay. And he caught 2 passes for only 6 yards. But then all of a sudden we go to the Chargers, and he has 16 carries, up 5 from Tampa, for 71 yards. And he catches 2 balls for 26 yards, including the crucial 7-yard catch that helped win the game at the end in the final drive. And then what did we see last night against Philadelphia? They clearly came out and said, we are going to pound it down their throats. Right. And here he came, and he went 17 carries for 95 yards and caught 3 more passes for 21 more yards. So that's a combined 116 yards total. And that's bounce back Zeke, because you can see it game after game. He's getting stronger and stronger and more and more. So again, this is the second incarnation of that Zeke. He's never going to be that 3 years in a row led the league.
Well, that's what you said he was going to bounce back to.
I did not say that. I told you if he could get to 85 yards a game, which I believe he will get to by the end of the year, he will average 85 a game. He was career low 65 last year. If you give me 20 more yards and we blend in the lightning to the equation.
Right.
All of a sudden, you got thunder and lightning, and he was thunder last night. As he said after the game, they felt us. The offensive line was physical last night.
They fired off the rock. But here's the thing, though, Skip. In order for Zeke to get back to what he was, Zeke was the bell cow. There was no lightning. He was thunder and lightning.
Okay, but you said in year 6, nobody gets better than they were in year 5. He's just going to be better than he was in year 5.
Well,
does he not look different to your eye?
He does.
He's lighter. He's sleek Zeke. He's quicker. He's a little more explosive. It's mostly between the tackles, but he will punish.
Yes. He runs with tremendous lean. But, Skip, I've lowered my expectations. I no longer expect to see the Zeke from the first 3 years. So anything that I get is better, as long as it's not like it was last year.
Okay, but last year, shell of self, where he became a liability last year to even feed Zeke. And now I want that in any short yardage goal line, I want 21 to smash it up in there.
But think about what you're saying. In order for you to maximize his ability, you have to spare him. Where in the years past, his first 3 years, there was nobody. He was doing it all. He was short yardage and goal line. He was giving you that burst. He was giving you those 15, 20 yards runs. Now you're saying third and goal line situation, I want Zeke. But for the explosive plays, I want Tony Pollard.
Okay, what's wrong with that?
But I'm saying...
Okay, he's still much more valuable than he was a year ago, so that's bounced back.
But the question is, are you going to be able to use him? They're using him, Skip. You got to understand, the first couple of games, what were you doing? You were falling so far behind, you had to throw to catch up, so you took him out of the game. He didn't take himself out of the game.
This year, he is helping set the early tone where we take command of the game, and I've never seen... It's been years since I felt so confident at the beginning of the game.
Yeah, because what you're doing, Skip, instead of falling down behind 14-0 or 17-3, you're all of a sudden, you're 7-7 or you're 7-0. Yeah. So now my playbook, the entire playbook is still open. You fall down, Skip, by 21.
We are dictating.
Yes,
we are commanding.
Yes, so you can keep him at the table, whereas before...
Okay. So if we could see Zeke score the first touchdown, this is vintage, classic now Zeke. This is how he eats now if we could see the first touchdown run. This is sheer gut, sheer will. It's not there. And he just said, no, I got this. Will anybody fight harder for 1 yard than Ezekiel Elliott?
That was a tough run.
Hey, it was a tough run, and he gets those. Any 3rd and 1 at midfield, you can trust him to get it because... Right. He has a warrior's will.
Yes.
Again, he doesn't have the breakaway burst.
Right.
On the 3rd and 1 at Tampa, he's not going to beat some practice squatter to the pylon. He just doesn't have that. But when Tony Pollard runs, I see burst and I see punishment. So I've got a 1-2 punch that they pack a punch. Both of them will punish a defense. Right. They will wear down a defense. I did not have any of the above last year.
Well, Skip, I just think the thing is that Zeke is a different back now. He's not the bell cow back that can give you the 30 carries.
But I do think he's a tone setter. He can be a first quarter tone setter.
Yes. But I do not believe he's going to be the guy that gives you 30 carries this week and can come back and give you 30 again next week and wear teams down back to back. That's why you have Pollard.
I don't know about that. Okay. I don't know. Okay, so in the first half, I kept advocating, sitting right here, you got to split their carries.
Yes.
And they split them. They gave Zeke 11 times the ball in the first half, and Tony Pollard got 10 carries.
That's my Skip.
And sometimes they shared thunder and lightning backfield.
Skip, you making my point. At what point in time in your first 3 years did you say Zeke need to share the carries?
Well, obviously not.
So that's what I'm saying.
But then
he's
in the
not
second half, Tony Pollard disappeared back to the bench, and they just said, we got the lead, and we're going to feed the beast.
Right.
And between the tackles, Zeke just took over the clock.
Right.
And again, they controlled the clock like crazy
almost 10 minutes,
night.
almost 10 minutes time of possession.
It's 35-25 at the end of it, but in the first half, it was like ridiculous.
Yeah, it was going to be.
They just didn't have the ball.
Exactly. And the thing was, Skip, you did that, is that when you think about it, the Cowboys had the ball, they got stopped on the goal line, and they turned the ball over in the end zone. So really, the game could have been a lot more different. And because if you look at it, the Eagles only scored 14 points.
Okay.
That's 7 points. The defense got that.
Okay. The stat of the night for me is to sit back as the smoke clears from what I saw last night and realize the Dallas Cowboys are now, I know it's only 3 games, they're ranked 4th in the league in rushing the football.
Yeah.
Ground and pound.
Right.
Baltimore is number 1. No surprise there. Cleveland is number 2.
No surprise.
Well, they got 2 good ones, don't they?
Tennessee.
And Tennessee's got 1 good one because that's all they need.
Right.
So that's 1, 2, 3, 4 is Dallas.
Right.
New day, new dawn, new magic formula.
Yes.
You need to run it more than you throw
But
it.
you was trying to tell me that they need to put the ball in Dak's hand.
No, I didn't say that. You don't need 58 passes.
No, I'm saying all last year. I said, everybody been trying to tell you this is a run-based team. You look at what they do. They can play action off of it, make Dak's job a lot easier. No, I want my quarterback to have the ball.
Okay, but you told me going into the year, he's making $75 million. There's no way they're going to run the ball more than they're going to throw it. And guess what? The last 2 games, they've run it a lot more than they've thrown it.
But I think the thing is where they're getting smart at, Skip, is that they're letting the defense dictate what they should do. Well, you're going to play us light with the box, which means a 6 or 7 man box. Okay. We're going to run the ball down your throat.
Okay, but any great running team, if I go back to, I know I'm going to the highest level, Emmett back in the 90s, they didn't care what the defense did. You can put 12 in the box. We're going to run it down your throat.
Well, here's the thing. But teams now, Skip, they don't bang their head against the wall. They say, you know what? We got Amari. We got CD. We got Gallup and Wilson. You want to drop that? We want to throw one-on-one. You make our job a lot easier, Skip. You can't disguise that. When I see the safety sitting down there, you ain't playing cover 2. You're not in no quarters coverage. You're not playing 6 kick and all these exotic coverages. You're playing single high safety, and now I just pick the one that comes open first.
Okay, so why is Dak Prescott leading the entire NFL in completion percentage?
Because they check down Charlie.
No, because they're not asking him to throw 58 in the last 2 games. 58 passes at Tampa was ridiculously too many, and I know they're great against the run.
Well, look at Matthew Stafford. He threw He threw a bunch of passes last week and had a high. I only missed 11 of them.
All I know is my favorite all-time stat is Dak Prescott era. Run it more than pass it. They are 26-0.
I know
undefeated.
I know my favorite stat is QBR, and I know who leading in it, and I know who not. I know who leading it, and it ain't close. That old guy with the Rams.
Really? That old guy? He is kind of an old guy.
Don't do that, Skip.
You mean the guy who got off to that horrendous start the other day?
It was it worse than your guy that went 3 and out twice?
Yes, it was way worse.
No, your guy went 3 and out twice.
Yeah, your guy went 1 of his first 6, including a ball that should have been picked and probably picked 6.
Yay. But then once he caught 5, man. He like Hunger Games. You remember when those Katniss Everdeen came out there, she was walking, and the fire, she was walking, Skip, that fire was blazing.
What?
I don't remember that part.
You remember Katniss when she was on fire?
I saw every last inch
when
of
she was in that
series.
chariot and she was on fire. You don't remember Katniss Everdeen?
I don't remember this stuff. You remember everything.
Okay, well, you better go back there.
I just remember Dee Delaney playing cornerback for the...
No mercy.
Tom Brady is preparing to play his first game in New England since leaving for Tampa after the 2019 season. And he spoke about the return on a recent podcast. Brady said, quote, "I'm not going to necessarily reminisce. I don't think this is the moment for that. I'm not going to be thinking about 20 years of history. I'm going to be thinking about one night of football, a Sunday night game coming off a really tough loss." So, Shannon, do you believe Brady won't feel any nostalgia Sunday night?
I do not. I'm not saying that he's going to bask in the moment, but Skip, you played 20 years in an organization. This is the first time Tom Brady's going to be taking the bus to the stadium. For the previous 20 years, Tom Brady's driven himself to the game.
You've been through this before.
I've been through this before.
At
Skip,
Baltimore.
And Denver.
And then go back.
I did it because of, And so, Skip, all of a sudden now you walk into the stadium, instead of going left to the home locker room, you go right to the visitors locker room. And now, what I did, I'm not saying he's going to do it. I got over there early, and I got an opportunity. I went back and talked to my athletic trainers and the equipment guys and some of the security guys that were there, the grounds crew. Skip, you spend 10 years. Tom Brady spent double that. I'm not saying it's going to be, you want to win the game.
But didn't you feel like an interloper?
Yeah, you're like, damn. I wonder if they go.
I don't belong in here.
And Skip, they introduced me, and the crowd gave me a standing ovation running out the tunnel. Now, I don't know. I think now, Skip, a lot of teams, they just come out there as a team. They don't do it like when you was covered. They entered the starting lineup for the Dallas Cowboys, and each guy run out the tunnel. I don't know if they're going to do it like that, but I'm sure the crowd, when Tom Brady is announced, they're going to applaud him. They're going to appreciate the 20 years that he gave him and the Super Bowls and all the countless memories. And so it's going to be a factor. Is it going to be an overwhelming factor? Is he going to be like too big for the moment? No. But to say Tom Brady wants you to believe that he's not human. But we've seen the side since he's been in Tampa, Skip, that Tom Brady let us into just a little glimpse. Yeah, okay, Tom, you kind of like us. You just win more. You're better at your job than a lot of people are at theirs. But you have emotion. There's a human side of you to this. And I believe he will have a little nostalgic moment to think about, like, dang, look around. Okay, let's go hang 50 on him.
Okay. I got to tell you, the more I think about this, I am concerned for the GOAT going back to his old New England pasture where he used to eat opponents like tin cans, right? Because he's shown so much more emotion in Tampa, so he's the new Tom.
Right.
He's the more open and outgoing Tom. He's letting us see inside.
Right.
And he is appreciating and enjoying the ride a lot more than he enjoyed it under Coach Belichick.
I would agree with that.
So the 44-year-old goes back to where he played for 20 years and was, to me, the driving force of the greatest dynasty in the history of professional football. And his emotions are going to be very mixed, but his emotions are going to be running high and hot into this game. So it's going to be very hard for him to do what he does better than anybody ever, which is control and channel his emotion.
Skip, how do you stand across the field and look at somebody when you knew they didn't want you?
That is correct. So I do fear for him a little bit because I think this is going to be harder than even he thinks.
Yes.
Because the defense is not playing very well. So I think the kid's going to have some success against this defense because people are now.
Correct.
I just read the NFL Network reported they're going to bring in Richard Sherman.
Right.
To check him out, but there's no way he's going to be able to play in this game. He wouldn't be available for a couple of weeks, even if they choose to go ahead and sign him.
Right.
So they're really decimated at corner. So their back end is highly vulnerable.
Correct.
And if JPP can't come off the edge, he's got a banged up shoulder. And I'm not sure about his status. But if they don't have him to rush the passer, I think the New England offense is going to have a lot of success, which means it could be you got to outscore the New England offense. So the onus more than ever will fall on the shoulder pads of this number 12. And again, it's going to rush over him that he obviously wanted to finish here. Yeah, this is where he wanted it all to end.
He said that. There are several things that he said. I want to play till I'm 45. I want to play my career here.
Yep.
That's what he's saying.
Okay.
And the one he could control, which was playing how long. And the thing with Skip, you and I was going back and forth. I was like, yeah, Skip, he might play till he's 45. I don't know if he's going to play with that on Coach Belichick watch.
No.
Because Coach Belichick was always talking about, I don't talk about the future. I'm just worried about Cincinnati. I'm just worried about the Giants. I'm worried. He thinks in terms of who am I playing this week? Tom talking about 5 years, 6 years from now? I ain't thinking about that.
Okay. So he now insists on the podcast last night, I'm going to be thinking only about one night of football, a Sunday night game coming off, as Jenny read, coming off a really tough loss. It was a really tough loss, and it took a lot out of his team. It was very physical. Gronk got beat up. Everybody. Jamel Dean got hurt. They all,
Bernard.
Hey, all of them. Yeah, I don't know how his knee's going to be. I'm sure they all got lots of bumps and bruises from that game because it was extremely physical because the Rams were out of their minds because this was like a Super Bowl type game. It was at least a playoff type game for them. So now you got to dredge it back up to go back to New England where this team wants to win badly for Brady. But has he ever wanted to win a game any worse than this game?
Yeah, I would rank this right below the Super Bowls.
Would you?
Yeah, I would.
You sure you'd rank it below? I'm not sure in his heart of hearts that it wouldn't rank at the top of the list.
It's up there, Skip, because when you feel someone has wronged you, there's nothing greater than getting satisfaction. It was like, I told you, I could still be doing this. And Tom is going to look around. And now, Skip, think about it. You used to stand on one side. You're on the other side. And you're looking at these guys like, man, they're my friends. I don't know if Tom has ever played. I don't know what's the turnovers been since Tom has left. I'm sure it's a lot. But some of these guys, McCourty and Kyle Van Noy and Slater and some of these guys, he's played against. He's played with.
Yes.
And the coaching staff, for the most part, that's one thing. The Patriots don't really do a whole lot of turning over the coaching staff.
No.
Those guys, unless they get a head job somewhere or an OC job, DC, they stay right there for perpetuity.
Okay.
So for me, I think I don't think he's giving it the credit that it deserves, because he's trying to like, man, look here, I'm a Terminator. I'm here to do a mission. I'm going to complete this mission, and I'm going to get back on the bus, get back on the plane. But I don't think he understands the range of emotions that he's going to feel.
No.
Because he's never had to experience it before.
It's going to be very difficult. And it shocked me last week that he signed off on both his father and his trainer doing interviews with New England area media, with Boston media.
Right.
A week ahead of this game, on the week they were getting ready for their toughest game on the schedule at Rams.
Correct.
And the trainer said that Bill Belichick took the ultimate shot. He never evolved with Tom. He never was able to honor Tom and treat him with the respect that Tom had earned after several Super Bowls.
He treated him just like the 6th round draft pick.
Yep.
In year 10, year 11, year 15, year 20. And there has to be some kind of growth. There has to be, Skip, I have kids. And when we go out, Skip, the hardest thing for me to realize is that they come like with ordering drinks. My daughter, let me get a margarita. And then I realize, damn, she's 28.
Yep. True.
So Skip, that's the evolution process.
No, I know.
At some point in time, Coach Belichick, you got to realize, you know what?
Yep.
He ain't just a 6th round quarterback. You know, the guy he kind of big deal now. I got to.
Okay. And the father spoke last week to Boston media and said that he feels extreme vindication over the way his son was treated. Yes, extreme vindication. So then Tom on his podcast last night tried to make a big joke about, I have a statement to make about my father, that never again will he be allowed to speak on my behalf. Like he's now disqualified.
Yeah, whatever.
You signed off on that. You knew what he was doing. He definitely checked in with you.
Of course.
And said, I'm just going to spill it. I'm just going to speak my heart. Go ahead, sure.
The 3 closest people in his life. Giselle, whatever she said, when she said she was worried about Tom and the concussions about how he came home, I believe her, because she dealt with him every night. When the trainer said what he said, he's with that guy every single day.
Every single day.
And I don't know how often did he talks to his dad, but I'm sure he talks to his dad a couple of times a week.
I'm going to bet every day with the dads. That's how close they are.
Well, I know that they talk a lot.
Yep.
So that's my bank. I'm cashing whatever they selling, I'm buying.
You're buying. It's going to be a tough night for Tom Brady.
It is.
I can't imagine that it won't be
the build-up, Skip.
The build-up. I mean, he can say all the right things.
Yes.
He won't reminisce, but you don't walk in there and not feel certain something. And I just cannot wait for this one. Sunday night, we will be counting down the days.
No mercy.
This Saturday, it's another huge slate of college football on Fox. Join the big noon kickoff crew for the biggest pregame party of the weekend. We are all live from Madison, Wisconsin, one of my favorite places, followed by Big Noon Saturday as Wisconsin hosts number 14 Michigan, and Spencer Rattler and the 6th-ranked Steelers face K-State. It all starts Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern on Fox. So the Cowboys dominated the Eagles last night in a 41-21 victory. Dak Prescott threw 3 touchdowns in his first game back in Dallas since injuring his ankle last October, and afterwards admitted it was an emotional experience playing in front of the home fans again. He also added, quote, I feel like I'm playing the best I've ever played. Shannon, please give Dak a letter grade for last night.
C. What'd you say? We'll get an A?
A C?
What part of my C did you get?
Seriously?
A C.
C?
I do not give guys A's for doing what I expected them to do. Just like I didn't give Brady an A when he did what he did to Atlanta. Just like I didn't give Rodgers an A when he did what he did against Detroit. This is what I expected going against a bad secondary.
A C?
Yeah, well, so what I'm supposed to do? Oh, he did give up a strip sack, which gave Eagles 7 points. And he did get stopped on 4th and goal at the 1. So I can't give him an A on that alone. He took some shots he shouldn't have taken. Skip, he gonna have to know, let that go. Don't take those shots. He got a couple of sacks last night he didn't have to take. Throw the ball away, Dak. Stop trying to be a hero. The run game was sensational. 28, they had 28 for 155, 5.5 yards a carry, Zeke and Pollard. So for me, this game was set up really well for him, but his play against that secondary, nah, you get no A from me, bro.
What? A C for what game were you watching?
I watched the Eagles. Bad secondary. That's what I watched.
So what do? You like go to Best Buy and they have a section of Cowboy hater TVs?
No.
Where it sort of blurs out what's actually happening in the game?
Skip, you saw that second. Skip, you saw the second. Skip, you saw the back end. And now the front four, Fletcher Hargrove, every once in a while, the front line, a sweat will give you a little something.
I'd say.
But
give you a lot of something.
But from back, from the backers back.
Darius Slay, top 3 corner in the league.
Nah, he ain't no top 3 anymore.
Yes, he is.
No.
He is top 3.
No.
Yeah.
You take it.
Okay, somebody's got to bring a little objectivity to this table.
You're not going to bring no objectivity.
I will go A- only because Dak held the ball a little too long as CD slipped down. If we could see the play in the end zone, please. And you can't do that. And Hargrave just blasted Biotish right up the middle and got his hand on ball and arm, and up in the air it went, and all of a sudden Fletcher Cox has a touchdown. Okay, you can't do that. So A- because that's the only thing he did wrong all night.
Okay.
So
what about the 4th and goal?
Okay, what about the 4th and goal?
He didn't get it in.
He definitely got it in.
What did they say?
On the 3rd try. I don't know. They just couldn't see it, and they went with the call on the field.
Thank you.
It was clearly a touchdown. It was clearly on his last thrust. He got the ball across the goal line. I know you don't listen to the sound, but everybody on ESPN said, that's a touchdown.
No, what did the rules official say?
Which one? On ESPN?
Yeah.
He said it was a touchdown. He said it sure looks like a touchdown to me. I'm paraphrasing now. He said it, but he said touchdown. So I immediately tweeted, that's a touchdown.
I was right on.
Okay.
Just like when I said Zeke wasn't down, and like I said, they're not going to overturn this call. They're going to go with the call on the field.
I also tweeted they will not overturn it because there was too much traffic. There were too many arms and legs and helmets.
So where is actually the ball? Right.
But there was one thrust late where he definitely got the ball across the plane.
Nope.
He broke the plane. It would have been a touchdown. It should have been a different call because I keep telling you it's Zeke behind Zach. It's the strongest combination on 3rd and short, 4th and goal, whatever it is. You're going to get 1 yard. Zeke behind Zach Martin. Yeah. He's on the way to the Hall of Fame.
Yes.
And he's playing at a Hall of Fame Pro Bowl level as we speak.
Yep.
So you just hand it to 21 and let him just crash in behind the right guard, and you'll get home every single time.
Skip.
So, again, are you going to dock him for that?
The Eagles back in. Skip, that's not good. Skip, okay. If they play a good team and it's a nip-tuck ball game, he puts up numbers like this, okay, Skip, I will concede that.
Okay.
But I'm not going to give him no A.
Okay, I just want to show glimpses of tour de force. If we could see the first throw, please, to CeeDee Lamb for 44 yards. A thing of beauty, not exactly a dink and dak, because it was bombs away, and he hit him right where he needed to hit him.
How many guys you think can make that throw right there?
Make that throw?
Yeah. How many NFL quarterbacks?
Oh, I'd say maybe 10.
I would say all 32. I would say 60 of them.
Okay, that ball had some stuff on it. That ball was lower trajectory. It wasn't a floater. It had mustard on it, and it hit CD exactly where you need to hit CD.
Well, I don't eat mustard, so I don't want it.
He's a jump ball catcher.
I don't eat mustard.
Yep. Okay, so I say that was a top 10 kind of pass.
No.
Then could we see the couple of throws to the sleeper of a tight end to Dalton Schultz, who everybody sleeps on until he materializes in the end zone? This is sweet. It's a quick, good read. That ball,
Skip, the guy wide open. Skip, the guy wide. Skip, he's not throwing anybody open.
Okay, all right. That's the other touchdown pass. And then the throw of the night from Dak Prescott wasn't even a completion. 21 or 26, and if we could see the throw to Cedric Wilson up the boundary on his roll to his left, wrong way. He goes the wrong way in the end zone and throws it cross body. And little Cedric slot receiver Wilson comes down with it. Oh, he couldn't get the other foot down.
I just want to make sure I'm hearing you. I just want to make sure I got this correctly.
Okay, was that not a great throw off an athletic play?
You had our video department get here at 2 o'clock this morning to get copy of an incomplete pass.
No, they were already ahead of me on that one.
No, they were not.
It was the throw of the night. Even I happen to have Peyton and Eli on. They were like, whoa. What a throw that
For
was.
an incompletion?
Well, it was very close to being a completion. He just couldn't get the other foot down. It was really a great catch by little Cedric. I love him as my slot guy.
Skip, I get it. If he'd have got both feet down, I was like, oh, man, what a throw.
That's an incompletion. He's 21 of 26
Yes.
for 238 yards.
Skip, you just showed 3 of the completions that you showed. The guys were wide open. None of those guys, how much separation did you think he had in all those plays? He didn't throw anybody open. There were no tight window throws.
Throwing high-velocity darts all night.
Skip,
Listen, Dak Prescott is playing at the highest level I have ever seen him play.
Yeah, but that
He is more in command. He is more accurate than he has ever been. And his arm seems to have gotten a little stronger through his time away from football.
That's why I have him 7th in my MVP, 7th or 8th in my MVP voting.
I got him 3rd in my MVP.
No, you don't.
And there is no way he gets a C for that performance.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Yes, that's what I do. Guys that do what I expect them to do against bad teams, yes, that's what I expect.
Are you sure you were on the right station?
I was on the right station. Skip, like I said, from the backers on back, I'm good.
Okay, so all I know is that Dak Prescott, through the first 4 games last year, was on an historic pace, throwing for record yardage.
Historical losing, too.
Okay, they should have lost all 4 of them. They barely stole one thanks to a miraculous watermelon kick.
Yes.
So they should have been 0-4 going into a Giants game that they soon fell behind in before Dak, faithfully, I'm knocking on wood for him, got hurt. This guy is night and daylight different from that guy that we saw last year or the guy we saw down the stretch in 2019 when he unraveled.
And he's night and day, and he's still not having a better season than Derek Carr, Matthew Stafford, Kyler Murray, or your guy Tom Brady. He night and day. He head and shoulders of where he's ever been. And he's still not playing better than them.
Derek Carr is first in my MVP race. Tom Brady's a 1A, so he is second. And Dak is pushing, skyrocketing up the list.
I guarantee you right now, Matthew Stafford's probably the favorite in the MVP voting. If we go to Fox Bet.
I don't know.
I know who's not in the
I know what my eye test told me against Chicago.
But you need your eye test.
Chicago?
They recommend LASIK surgery every 10 years. You outside that window.
Listen, I got 2015 vision. Everything around. But I can see clearly with my Cowboys.
But unfortunately, you sit 30 feet away from the TV, so that 2015 ain't helping you. So in other words, Skip Bayless, there's no way, there's under no circumstances can you sit across from me and say Dak Prescott to date has outplayed Matthew Stafford.
Yes, he has. What are we talking about? Did you watch, man? I watched the whole game at Indy. They were having a hard time getting out of there alive against a winless team.
Hold up.
They barely won 27-24 against a winless 0-3 team.
They got out of there how? They got out of there how?
Yep.
With a what? Can I get a...
Yeah.
Like Jay-Z said, can I get a what?
Okay, well, can I get a what for this?
No,
At
you
Tampa
got to see.
Bay on opening night, Dak Prescott pulls off what looked like the game-winning drive, unfortunately leaving 1:24 on the clock. But he did that. He converted a 3rd and 11 with a 31-yard pass to CeeDee Lamb against the Bucs defense that was playing at a high level. We agreed. The Bucs defense was the hottest, nastiest defense for the last 10 games last year.
Yeah, but they not the hottest. And now they're last in pass defense.
Okay, well.
So what that tell you?
And then I watched Dak Prescott go to the Chargers, who just obliterated my homeboy at my homeboy.
Oh, they obliterated him,
Well,
right?
they did. They obliterated him.
Skip, they won by 6.
Okay, well, but your guy came all apart.
With 4
My guy
turnovers.
doesn't do that.
But I'm just trying to figure out, you up there
Dak
pounding.
Prescott leads the league at 78% completion.
You're pounding, Skip, you're pounding the table because your team lost to the Bucs. I've never seen a fighter says, my claim to fame is I got knocked out by Ali, or I got knocked out by Tyson.
Again, who did
What
you
statement?
Wait a second. Who did you pick to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl?
I might alter that.
You can't alter
Yes,
it.
I
It's
can.
in concrete. You picked the Buccaneers.
So now I can't. You want me to alter my pick? You want me to come out here and alter my pick for the NFC East, give you more victories, but I can't change my.
I'm not in the Hall of Fame, but the Hall of Famer Shannon Sharpe predicted to me just before the season began that Tampa Bay Buccaneers would represent the NFC in the Super Bowl, and my Cowboys go in there and take them to the buzzer.
And take a loss.
It was down to the last drop, the last swing of the leg, and they barely lost 31-29. And it was no fluke. It was no joke. It was no aberration.
Hey, let that sink.
They announced that night, we are legit. We are for real.
Imagine this. And the Rams beat the brakes off that team that beat your team.
The brakes off?
Brakes!
I didn't see any brakes off.
Your guy down 17 with 3 minutes in the game is still throwing the ball.
My guy threw for 432 with no interceptions? Are you kidding me?
And 266 of them had no meaning.
Oh, no meaning? Well, yeah, he's just the comeback king of the history.
What did he come back for?
Well, he was trying to come back. He just needed the defense to get him the ball back. One turnover, and you would have been sunk.
Skip.
But you had no turnover.
Exactly.
It was your day, and Coach Rah-Rah screaming and yelling. And we'll see.
And Matthew Stafford looked him right in his eye.
Yeah.
It didn't blink. He played a game of chicken with Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Tom Brady made a lot of men blink.
He was blinking early, though. 1 for 6. He was doing this.
Matthew Stafford stared him down, and Tom blinked.
Yeah.
Tom said, you got me today.
If Jamel Dean catches that ball, hits him right in the bread basket, runs it back, we're having such a different conversation.
No mercy. At 6'8", 250 pounds, many have wondered how great a NFL player LeBron would have been. He appeared as a guest on Peyton and Eli Manning's telecast Monday night and unveiled just how close he was to becoming a NFL pro. Take a listen.
There's your headshot.
That
looks great.
That's true. Jerry Jones offered me a contract. Also, Pete Carroll did as well in Seattle.
They talk position. They say receiver. They say tight end. I don't think you want to block anybody.
Yeah, tight end. Yeah, tight end. Yeah. I was trying to, I want to be a red zone specialist, almost like, like Gronk.
Yeah.
Like Gronk.
Hey, I would have thrown so many touchdowns to LeBron down there in the end zone, put him out wide, throw the fade, jump ball, throw 75 touchdowns.
No, absolutely.
Well, Shannon, this is perfect. I got to ask you about this. How good would LeBron have been as a tight end?
Yeah. It's just hard for me to see a scenario in which a guy has not played a sport in a decade plus. Switch positions because he was a receiver in high school. Switch positions and then be not just play a sport, but play a professional sport. Now, we're not talking about, playing with my homeboys in the backyard or playing in the club. We're talking about the NFL. I mean, I'm glad people think the NFL is easy. Now, and I know people say, well, LeBron is tough, and I'm not here to debate that. I believe he is a tough guy. But there's levels to toughness. A tough NBA player is not the same as a tough NFL player. A tough NFL player is not the same as a tough MMA fighter or a boxer. There's levels to toughness, and there's degrees to this. So for me, you're going to ask LeBron to be a tight end. At that time, Jared Allen, J.J. Watt, DeMarcus Ware, Von Miller, Alden Smith. Those are some of the guys that he's going to be going up against. And having never played that position. Now, he mentioned that he wanted to be a red zone target, so just bring him in and let him throw him up jump balls. And then they're probably going to treat him like Calvin Johnson. He'll get the Gunner treatment where they line 2 guys up over him because he is 6'8", and he does have supreme jumping ability, Skip. But I don't see a scenario. I'm not saying it can't happen, but I'm going to need to see it before I believe it, that it could happen. I'm going to need to see LeBron James in some shoulder pads. I'm going to need him to see him take some hits before I say LeBron James can play in the NFL. And having been away from the game that length of time and to pick back up in the NFL, not college, but the NFL, I'm going to have to see that before I believe it, even for LeBron James.
This is highly amusing to me because for the first time ever, your self-love has finally overcome your crazy LeBron love, because usually anytime we ever ask any question about LeBron, oh, he'd be great. He'd be impossible. He'd be incredible. He'd be this. He'd be that. Am I right? But now you are literally defending your position, you being in the Hall of Fame as a tight end. So your position on that position is nobody could just step in and do that.
No, Skip. I'm just saying any position. I'm not saying tight end. I'm saying running back, wide receiver, DB. Skip, he hadn't played since his junior year in high school.
Okay, we are talking about the lockout of 2011, 12. It's like going into
it was his second season. They ended up winning the title to be OKC.
Okay,
if I'm not mistaken.
So that is correct. Okay, so the point is, if we subtract 9 years from his life, that he'd be in the heart of his prime.
Right. So he'd been 30, right? No, he'd have been 28.
No.
27, 28, 28, 27.
27.
27.
Okay, so at 27, he'd be in the heart of his athletic prime.
Yes.
And I don't call him 6'8", I call him 6'9", because I believe he is.
Okay.
And I believe he would be able to carry 260-ish, somewhere in there. And at 6'9", do you realize how tall he would be compared to everybody else? I know when I watch an NBA game with LeBron, he just looks like one of the fellas.
Right.
You know, like he just looks average to me. But no, he is not average, because who has ever played at 6'9"?
Well, the tallest receiver has been Harold Carmichael, who played at 6'8". 6'8".
Yes.
I don't know if you
well for the Eagles.
Yeah, I don't know him. He just went to the Hall.
And Harold Carmichael looked like freakishly tall. He looked like a giraffe out there.
He did.
Right? And if you put LeBron in pads, I was watching some of the old tape from his high school days.
Right.
He just towers over everybody around him. Well, okay, so Gronk is 6'6"-ish?
Yes.
You stood next to Gronk.
Jimmy Graham is 6'7", 6'7" and a half.
Right in there, right in the ballpark, and he played basketball.
Right.
Okay, so is Gronk a legit 6'6"?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. All right, so he is the ultimate, in today's game, red zone target. Okay, so if you took LeBron with his athletic ability and his leaping ability and his competitive nature, well, then if you just made him a red zone target, if you said you don't really need to block, he could maybe occasionally try to block if he felt like it, but that would not be a prerequisite for doing this. Would he get knocked around? Would people go out and try to get him and try to teach him a lesson, punish him a little bit? Yeah, but he's not he's not weak. You know,
no.
He is a tough NBA player. Right?
Yes.
And he's pretty physical in the NBA, and he has taken a lot of punishment.
But Skip,
in fact, I can argue, as the greatest driver of the basketball I have ever seen, I can argue he has taken as much punishment over a 19-year career as anybody this side of maybe Shaq or maybe Jordan for a few years, but Jordan didn't last that long.
But Skip, you do realize you've covered this game too long. You know tough in basketball and tough in football.
Okay, I got that.
And you know, you've seen Ronnie Lott hit people, Steve Atwater, and Rodney Harrison, and some of these vicious hitters, Chuck Cecil, Mark Carrier, when they were like literally decapitating people.
Okay, well, not literally, but
I mean, it felt like it.
Yeah, I know, I got it. But listen, LeBron, you think he's one of the greatest athletes we've ever seen.
I do.
Well, then, I agree. I don't think Peyton was exaggerating. He was 75. Not maybe that's too many, but if you gave Peyton the ability to just put him out wide, I'd throw him fades or jump balls.
Right.
It would be very difficult to keep LeBron from coming down with the football.
But Skip, then what they started doing when they had Megatron, and it's like, well, we can't. I mean, he was 6'4". But he had a 43-inch vertical. They says, well, we can't do anything, so they just gave him Gunner. They just lined the two DBs out in front of him and says, okay, now beat both of them. Okay. That's what they're going to do with LeBron. Okay. But Skip, I'm not saying...
But we're talking more red zone-ish, where he would be a little bit of just a luxury to have where you wouldn't play him every down.
But Skip, you're saying as if LeBron James had played football, was away from the game for a year, and then went back out and picked it back up. You're talking about a decade in which he hadn't played. How many guys you know put a sport down?
Yeah.
A sport that they hadn't played in a decade.
Well, like we saw what happened to Tim Tebow. When he was playing a position he'd never even tried to play.
Thank you.
And had never caught balls at all. At least LeBron caught high school football.
Yes.
Tim didn't catch any high school footballs.
And maybe if Tim had gone to college, maybe if Tim had done that when he's coming out, Skip,
no, I
believe he probably could have transitioned.
Maybe.
But to be, I'm not saying, look, there are certain athletes like Dion, but Skip, Dion, I tell you, I couldn't have put the bat down for a decade and went back out there and played baseball. Bo said I couldn't put it down. What did they do, Skip? As soon as one season was over, they picked the season right back up.
I think you're not giving LeBron James enough credit.
No, I'm giving him plenty of credit. No. I don't think they're giving football enough credit.
I'd take him on my team.
He don't want your team. He said he a Browns fan. Did you not hear what he said? He said he a Browns fan.
He said he changed.
Biggest front runner in the history of sports.
You a hater now.
He is forsaking the Dallas Cowboys. Maybe by the end of the game last night, he said, I better get back on that bandwagon because they're coming.
No mercy.
Tonight, the fight for the NL East continues on FS1. MVP candidate Bryce Harper leads the Phillies against Freddie Freeman and the Braves. The action begins tonight at 6:30 Eastern on FS1 and the Fox Sports app. So while Leonard wouldn't give a timetable on his return to the court when he spoke at Clippers Media Day yesterday, but he did give one hint that left fans optimistic he could return. Kawhi said that if he signed a one-year deal, he probably wouldn't have risked playing this upcoming season, but by signing a 4-year deal, he secured his money and felt he could come back this year if he is able to. So, Shannon, do you believe Kawhi will play this season?
Yeah, I believe it when I see it. He told us he wouldn't be played if the money wasn't locked in. Now, this is what we know about Kawhi Leonard. When have we seen him play when he's not 100, 1,000% healthy? So the likelihood of him going out there risking it, if he's not 100%, remember that tendinosis and the knees.
Yep.
So what it told me, Skip, I need that bag. And once I get the bag, I'm straight. I may or may not play. There's a greater chance that I will play because I'm secure. I ain't guaranteeing you that I'm going to play, but there's a greater chance I'll believe it when I see Kawhi Leonard on the court. But until then, see you in 2022 after the season.
I have repeatedly told you, or should I say warned you, Kawhi Leonard is going to play this basketball season. I believe he'll be back by midseason, somewhere around March 1st, and will be ready to go once the playoffs arrive, because this is a new and different Kawhi Leonard.
No, it ain't the same one.
He has now turned 30 years of age.
Injury prone.
He has played 10 years in this league.
Injury.
And all he wants to do now is to beat LeBron James and the Lakers, because he would like to be the king of L.A., as the ad that he dropped on opening night 2 years ago suggested that he would be.
The ad didn't age well.
Well,
it didn't age well.
You know what? If I remember correctly, Kawhi Leonard had the Clippers on course to be in this past year's finals, and I believe they would have beaten Milwaukee in the past year's finals. But no, Joe Ingles happened. He got bumped sideways. But I told you, and I'm going to reiterate this, I was told the surgery wasn't nearly as bad as most ACL surgeries can be. And remember, the Clippers staff initially misdiagnosed this because the tear was not a major tear. Kawhi went on to Utah, remember, like he was going to play the next night, and you said, oh, you sat right over there and said he'll be playing. That's no big deal. He came back in the game. He made a couple.
That's what you told me. That's what you told me. The injury. If a person gets injured, leaves the game, and comes back in, I was just basically on Dr. Bayless's, because that's how Dr. Bayless' assessment. When LeBron James got hurt his ankle and stayed in the game and shot a 3, well, how hurt could he have been? So I was just using your prognostications.
Well, all I know is I'm now predicting he will be back at midseason, and I'm also predicting that you and LeBron and your Lakers will be in trouble because of it. And every ranking that I see of teams, every projection I see just disqualifies the Clippers, because everybody has written out Kawhi Leonard.
Even with him in, he's not going to be favored over the Nets, the Bucks, or the Lakers. Even with Kawhi penciled in.
Well, you might ink him in because he's going to be there. And I love it that everybody is completely dismissing the Clippers, because there's nothing not to love about this team.
There was nothing like, Skip, you remember when they came out with those ink pens that had erasable ink? That was so ingenious, because the longest time only pencils had you could erase. And then they came out with the ink pen that I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. That's what it is.
Do you remember how good the Clippers were at that moment?
When?
That they were on such a roll. Reggie Jackson was on a playoff Reggie roll.
You said that's where he picks up and left off.
Do you remember what Paul George did in spite of all the criticism? Was he not playoff P through the playoffs? Yes, he was.
We'll see. Guess what?
Was Kawhi Leonard not Jordan-esque, making those 17-foot fall-away jumpers?
Yeah, I don't remember Jordan going down back-to-back series 0-2. I don't remember that happening.
Yeah.
You remember that happening?
No, but I remember Kawhi saying, I got you. I got this. At Dallas, I remember games 3 on that Friday night, and then 4.
And Jordan blew a 3-1 lead?
Utah, I remember against Utah, those games 3 and 4. Remember that?
Man.
Was he not special in that series?
Jordan blew a 3-1 lead too?
No, he did not.
Oh, okay.
But that was the old Kawhi.
This is the same Kawhi. This is the same Kawhi. Ain't nothing changed. Same hairstyle, same car, same Chevy Blazer tall he had since 2010. Yeah, ain't nothing changed.
You are stuck with Russell Westbrook as your point guard, your primary decision maker.
I'll take it.
You are in trouble. I got Reggie. You got Russ?
Reggie. You got Reggie.
Yeah, I
really?
got Reggie. Did you see him in the playoffs? Did he not make a bunch of clutch shots?
Clutch shots. Made a bunch of them.
Can Reggie Jackson shoot it? You
The
bet.
same guy. Hold up. The same guy.
Russell Westbrook shoot it? Yeah, can shoot himself in the foot.
The same guy the Pistons got rid of. That Reggie Jackson.
Yeah.
I know you ain't talking about that Reggie Jackson.
Yeah, who got that bag from the Pistons? That guy.
So now all of a sudden, with all the guys that got the bag, that's all that matters now. Because when you say such and such got rid of him, they didn't want him. They done secured the bag, but so long as Reggie Jackson get the bag, we disqualify that. Okay, I'm just checking, just making sure.
Same Reggie who used to save Russ and KD in Oklahoma City.
Really?
Yeah, that guy.
Really, Skip?
Yep. It's just going to be a big
save Russ and KD.
Remember what I said. Remember I said it here.
Katie, you heard this man say it. Reggie Jackson saved you.
No mercy. The Chiefs are last place in the AFC West after 2 straight losses, but help may be on the way. Free agent wide receiver Josh Gordon has been cleared to play and is reportedly signing with the Kansas City's practice squad. Gordon hasn't played in an NFL game since December 2019 at this point. So, Shannon, how much will he help the Chiefs?
Not much. Offense isn't the problem, Skip. Can he tackle? Can he rush the quarterback? Can he stop the run? That's what they need. Offense isn't their problem. Patrick Mahomes is throwing the ball for over 300-plus yards. I think he has 8, 9 touchdown passes. They turned the ball over, but they need somebody on the defensive side of the football. I just hope he can get his life straight and keep it that way.
How many times
one day
have
at
you
a time.
said that on this show?
Well, I said it on your old show in 2014.
That's right. No, that's true. I am so worn out from this story, and I like Josh, and I got to know Josh a little bit, enough to know that he has high quality to him, but he's just got
demons.
Big demons. He's 30 years of age now. The last time I laid eyes on him in a football game, he was playing for the Zappers of the Fan Control Football League with Johnny Manziel. Are you kidding me? It's just hard to believe that at some point he won't just hit the wall and just have not much left to give.
I don't know how much he has left now, Skip. He's been playing sporadically over the last 8, 9 years.
Hard to know.